is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show.
I am not hearing myself whatsoever here on the headphones. I don't know if you can give me some headphone juice there or something like that, Bill. Is my mic even on? I don't even know because I can't even tell if it's on. I don't know if you're hearing me because I can't hear myself. Welcome aboard on a beautiful Monday. Lots of things to talk about here on the show. Are you hearing me? Can you hear me? Are you? Any of you watching right now on YouTube, can you hear me? Is what I want to know. Can you hear me? Is what I want to know. I need to know this right now. Because right now I can't hear myself. So I'm not sure if we're even... I know I can see the video. I know I'm on, video-wise, audio-wise. Not exactly sure if anybody can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? See, I'm asking you if you can hear me, but if you're watching and then you don't hear anything, then you don't know if I'm asking you if you can hear me. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like where I'm at right now. And Manny says no on YouTube. So we are not, I guess, on at the moment. All right. Well, we gotta figure this out here, of course, and then we'll try to get everything going here on the program. Let's see. No, I don't hear anything. I'm not hearing anything whatsoever. I'm not hearing myself in this.
Check.
I hear you. Audio is low. Okay? I don't know. How are you guys hearing it? There's a buzz. Oh yeah? What's the buzz? What's the buzz? Tell me. Give me the scoop. What's the buzz? What's out there? Dion Waiters taking another picture on another yacht? A bigger yacht? Is he just rubbing it in the Heat's face now? Well, what is the buzz out there?
Please tell me. Oh! Look, I'm hearing myself. Wait a minute. I think we...
Wait, no, we're gone now. We're gone
again. Oh, we're back. All right. Can you guys hear us now? Now do we sound nice and clear? Is the technical snafu over? Are we done?
We should be good to go. Please do me a favor. We need to turn France on.
Oh.
Everybody's gotten used to France. And Spider-Man's climbing France like back in the day, the old cartoon.
Yeah. No, I got you. All right.
We should be good. You know what it was? 1-3. 1-3. Lines.
Oh, okay. On the pick. Anyway. So, what's it called? So we will take you till about 3 o'clock because at 2:30, Brian Flores will address the media and we'll get that. I'm hearing you the same way as you are. Oh, we are good now. Okay, we're good now. Okay, good. We're good. All right, there we go. And so we'll go all the way till 3 o'clock. That's when Brian Flores will address the media at 2:30, and then we'll give you our thoughts on anything that breaks from that. Maybe there's some kind of breaking news. I have no idea on what's going to be said today, but we got a lot of things to talk about basketball-wise, too. We'll get into a little Okie since the Panthers are back in action tonight. And it's got to be tough to be you out there. That's where I'm going to start. I'm going to start that it's tough to be a fan, especially of the Miami Dolphins. And I know it's been a tough, especially the last 20 years, right? Once Marino retired, even though the Marino run ended with a thud, obviously, with 62-7, which was depressing. But I will tell you that I feel for you guys out there and ladies out there that have got to follow the Dolphins because it's it's weird because it depends on who you follow in the media, I guess, right? And whatever you're comfortable with. And I guess there's no right or wrong in any of this. I guess it's just a way you look at things. Coming off yesterday's game, people looked at it like it was a setback. And I'm sitting there going, setback? You can't be any more setback than this. It's called a rebuild. They started at rock bottom. When you're at rock bottom things happen, like you win 3 games in an entire year. And yes, you're going to lose badly to the Giants like they did yesterday, 36-20. But it's almost like some folks in the media are surprised that Miami will lose games in a big-time way. I think we've watched good teams get throttled and lose games. So why wouldn't a team that's really bad, that lacks talent more than anyone else in the NFL, why wouldn't they lose by 16 points? Why is that a setback? Why? I'm not sure. Now, I think it has to do a lot with the bitterness of covering this every day. I guess losing, because you got to walk in there and talk about losing and all of that. And I worry about that when those are years that you loaded up on your roster and you spent money and all that stuff and you're losing, then that's when I'm going to take you out to the woodshed and rip your ass. But on a team like this, I'm expecting bad games. I'm expecting a lot of losses. For Christ's sake, I never even expected 3 wins. That's the
problem. The 3 wins creates levels of expectation.
Right.
So when you have this reality check, per se, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Bottom line, where we were and we're on this high, with the higher you get, the fall is further. And, yeah, that's what happened. Expectations because of 3 wins.
But we've been talking about this all season. If you listen to this show, don't we tell you that they are competitive to a certain extent? They will get to a watershed moment in the game that either you make the right play or you don't, and it kind of changes the face of the game, right? Like in that Bills game. Same thing. Yesterday, the safety was, from that point on, it completely changed the game. That's how it is for this team, because any little thing is going to easily derail them because they don't have talent. They can't run the ball yesterday. So if you can't run the ball, then they know what you're going to do. And you became very predictable yesterday, but the narrative of this is a setback when, I'm sorry, I'm watching Devontae Parker come back from a concussion that he didn't even miss a week. He missed a half of football last week, and he comes back and in a dominating fashion catches 2 touchdowns. And that second touchdown was awesome. The way he has played is awesome. I'm sorry, you're not raining on my parade. I'm sorry, I'm not allowing people in the media that just want to spin everything negative. This is a rebuild, dude. This is about getting Nick Needham more playing time and developing, and maybe he becomes a key backup for you next year. That's what this is all about. I get it. The offensive line has been a mess. And they start Dieter and Calhoun, and they bench Calhoun and Dieter at one point or another throughout the game, and they bring them back, and they bench them, and they bring them back. I get all of that. Doesn't mean Michael Dieter's a bust, okay? Because you thought Raekwon McMillan was a bust, and now you don't. And you thought Mike Gesicki was a bust, and now you don't. And that's because you don't give up on young players. Plenty of them struggle early on to find their way.
Hello, we thought Devontae Parker
was a bust.
Thank you.
Right. And now he has turned into an absolute find. And like we talked over the weekend, this was a genius move to sign him to a contract. And by the way, yesterday reminded you how much of a genius move that was. And for those of you that don't know the market, $10 million a year for a number 1 wide receiver is a joke. This is a guy that has 8 touchdowns and, 800 or 900 and something like it, 954 yards. He's 46 yards away from 1,000 yards. Okay? He should get it next week against Cincinnati, and he should end up with about 1,100 yards when it's all said and done, maybe 1,200 when it's all said and done in the next 2 weeks. That'll be pretty cool. So I'm not allowing people to rain on this parade because that's what this is. This is a rebuild. They tore it down to the ground. I told you it's not about the collective, right? From day one. Have we not said it's not about the collective?
It was about the individual performances.
That's it. It's about identifying which are the building blocks for next year. That's what this is all about. Don't let anybody in the media make it sound like they were developing a playoff team right here, right now. Don't make it sound like they were supposed to win 5, 6, 7, or 8 games, because they're not. The fact that they won 3 is amazing. They got a shot at 4 next week against Cincinnati. That's probably where it ends. They're not going to beat the Patriots. Plus, the race that they're in, they need that win. So they're going to come here and beat Miami for sure. But the Bengals, you have a shot. Maybe you win it, maybe you don't. But anybody in the media that gets surprised that Miami loses to anyone in the NFL, I don't understand it. I really don't. They have way less talent than the Giants. It's not even close. The Giants are 100 times more talented than Miami. They may not be coached better, but to call this a setback or that this is a disappointment, or, oh, please give me a break. Let's not overreact on all of this. Brian Flores has done a hell of a job with what he has. Do you know how many people were making their debuts yesterday? What was it? Meet Trevor Davis. He signs and now is starting your kickoff and punt return duties. Okay? Meet Evan Brown. Meet Lyndon Stevens. Meet Zach Seiler. Meet Nate Brooks. Meet Jamal Davis II. And Montrez Hartage, who got promoted from the practice squad. All those guys made a debut yesterday. Are you kidding me, dude?
Remember during the game, they threw up that stat. 76 moves since the start of the season.
Played more than anybody.
Second, we have the second most injuries, IR guys, 20, and unsigned, undrafted, 23 guys on our roster.
Right. That's what this is. That's what this whole entire season has been all about. It's finding talent. It's unearthing talent and trying to get whatever you can. You're not going to find a starting quarterback. You're not going to find a starting rush end. Okay, I get that. But you might find a key backup here, a key backup there. Maybe you find a decent starter somewhere out of all of this. That's what this is all about. But this spin job and try to make it sound like it's the worst thing in the world, and they tore it down to the bone, dude. They're not supposed to be good. That's the part I don't understand. And the fact that they're competitive, the fact that they can hang in there at times with certain teams, the fact that they are in moments where if it goes either way, they could win it or they could lose it, is one hell of an accomplishment. That's what people don't understand. Yesterday, Fitz had no running game whatsoever. And they were just able to tee off on him, and it was a mission for him. It was just brutal to watch. I get it. But there are positives in every week that we've been watching this team. And Devontae Parker is one of them. You no longer have to worry about a number 1 wide receiver in the draft, free agency, whatsoever. You have it for next year. You're set.
Oh, right now, Devontae Parker, 40th in receptions with 59. 21st in yards with 954.
On a bad team.
11th with yards per catch, 16.2, and tied for 4th with 8 touchdowns. That's what a number one receiver does.
Right, and that's without the supporting cast, an offensive line,
He's been
a
missing
rushing
Preston
game,
Williams opposite to take. Yes,
everything.
Almost every pass he's gone out for the last few weeks since Preston's been gone is double coverage, bro.
Yeah. So this guy's catch. I mean, that second touchdown where he bodied the guy and got the ball. That was he's developed into what at least what I knew he would be, or what I thought he would be when they drafted him. This is what I thought that they drafted. And we were wrong for a little while because, unfortunately, the guy just had one setback after another. But you're not taking that away from me as a Dolphin fan. You're not. I'm not going to sit here and start worried. Man, I know that they've got a shutdown corner next year, and his name is X. I know they've got a number one wide receiver, and his name is Devontae Parker. I like Preston Williams as a number 2 wide receiver. I like the development of Mike Gesicki. I think eventually he's getting there. He took a nice step forward this year. Patrick Laird did not have a great day yesterday, but I like him that maybe he could be a pass-catching back for you out of the backfield. Eric Rowe, you found the guy that could cover safeties. You got Bobby McCain for next year. Davin Godchow has had a really good year. Christian Wilkins has had a solid rookie season.
We kind of need him. We kind of need him.
Yeah, Taco Charlton. You got a defensive end for the rotation next year. Maybe not the starter, but maybe the number 3 guy. Maybe a number 2 guy. I don't know, but you found one. Nick Needham. Maybe he can actually battle for that 4th or 5th cornerback spot for next year. I'm not telling you he's going to start. I'm not telling you he's going to the Pro Bowl. But, man, how can you not be impressed with his growth from beginning till now? I mean, that's what this is all about. And to make it more than that, it's because you want to create some crap. That's all. It's the same thing. It's just like the narrative, they're tanking. No, they're not tanking, dude. They're going to build through youth. This is the way they're going to do it. They're going to scour everybody's practice squads. They're going to try to take some of those guys that they thought have some kind of talent that they can mold, and maybe they can, and they probably won't, because most of those guys that are on the practice squad, they're just projects, and most of them are going to be failed projects. Once in a while, you'll find a diamond in the rough. That's what they're trying to do. What's wrong with that? I don't know why we're fighting this. I don't know why writers are fighting this. I don't know why TV and radio people all over the country fight this. It's their right. If they want to build a team through youth, I find it genius. Why are you going to build it through old guys? Old guys that aren't going to be here for you, 3-4 years from now? So what are you building then? Nick Needham, let's just go with me on this. Nick Needham and Preston Williams, right? Okay? And Taco Charlton. Let's have a little fun with this, okay? Neither guy's a draft pick, correct? Neither guy was a big-ticket free agent. Are we all good now, right? Preston Williams, undrafted college free agent. Nick Needham, practice squad theft. Taco Charlton, a waiver wire pickup, right? You got him in 3 different ways. This is what this season's about. It's not about – the tankers don't get this. Hardcore football people like myself will understand all of this. And I'm trying to pass it on to you guys out there. So they go, okay, we have many ways of unearthing talent. We can draft. We can sign undrafted free agents. We can grab waiver wire guys, and we can grab practice squad guys. So now, come with me on this journey. This is year 1 of your establishing the culture. Year 1 of teaching people how you're going to do things here. Okay? Same thing Pat Riley had to do years ago in year 1. Now, let's say, play with me here on this one. Let's say Nick Needham does turn out to be a decent player, and he becomes a key backup for you, just like Lifford Hobley was when he crossed over as a scab and became a defensive back for you. Same thing. The beauty of being 53 is I got perspective more than most people, okay? And I know more about I forgot more about the Dolphins than most of the people that do radio, they write, whatever it is. I know more of the history of this team and everything that goes on than they ever will, okay? So let's just say Nick Needham turns out to be a decent player. Let's say Taco Charlton turns out to be a decent player. Let's say Preston Williams develops into a starter, which right now we're actually looking at him as a starter for next year, correct?
He looks like a good number 2.
All right, he looks like an exceptional number 2, a guy that can screw around being a number 1.
The size, the speed, him opposite Devontae, wow.
You may have 2 number 1s next year, but we don't want to get ahead of ourselves and then we start with the blind-ass fan alert. But let's just go with number 2 right now, right? So we're in year 2. And instead of buying an old guy, Aqib Talib, he was healthy. Let's play Aqib Talib instead of Nick Needham. Where does that get you? Doesn't get you anywhere. You might be better right now because Aqib Talib is probably a much better player than Nick Needham.
Oh, what if we keep Kenny Stills?
Right.
That's $8 million. It's almost the same money as we're paying Devontae Parker. Who would you rather have right now?
And then you're not developing Preston Williams. You're not giving Isaiah Ford opportunities.
Hearns.
Yeah, Alan Hearns also that's another pickup that you ended up signing, and now you got a possession guy who's a solid possession guy, Alan Hearns. That's what this season's about. That's what the tankers don't understand. Hardcore football people, hardcore Dolphin fans will understand this because this is how you build a football team. This is why I've been so geekly excited, and I know geekly is not a word, but I'm geeking on all of this. I have geeked about this from day one. I have not wavered. Have you seen me at all mad throughout this football season? At all. Do you know why? Because I know what's going on. I can see what's going on. It's an evaluation. It's a developmental stage. It's not a stage of expectations. It's not a stage where you sit here and you say, I demand you win. I demand you win half the games, and if you don't, you're a failure. No, because football is the ultimate team sport. And if the 11 guys that are currently on the field are not all good players, and they all don't understand what they're doing, you're going to have breakdowns, ladies and gentlemen. Have you ever played football? At any level. It doesn't matter what level it is. You could be playing touch. You could be playing high school. You could be playing Optimus. You could be playing college, the NFL. Everybody knows, ultimate team game. You're all running downfield to cover the punt, whether it's tag or tackle, it doesn't matter. The guy on the left side starts to ad-lib and goes to the right side because he thinks he can make and go get the guy's flag.
Stay in your lane.
Exactly. And I'm faster, I could get the flag. But then the guy runs the other way, and then where he left that opening, he's gone. It doesn't have to be the NFL for you to understand how to play this game and how, if one or two pieces are off. So I just told you, Trevor Davis, Evan Brown, Lyndon Stevenson, Zach Seiler, Nate Brooks, Jamal Davis, Montrez Hartage. They all made their debut. Do you think it's going to go smooth when you add that many people? Some of them are starters.
Bro, Nate Brooks
was a starter.
We just grabbed him off a Patriots practice squad this week.
Trevor Davis was thrown in to be your kick returner, punt returner right now.
Yeah. Probably a game-time decision.
Can you imagine that? At the highest level of this game, you are throwing people out there off the street to start. How is that going to go, ladies and gentlemen?
In New York.
And the fact is, they've been competitive in most of these games. The fact is, there are moments where you're like, they got a shot at winning this game. That's the part you should actually embrace if you're a media member. You should actually magnify that and show people instead of, well, no, this is terrible, this is a setback, this is that. This is a bad team, dude. The fact that they were in it, you should write the, hey, listen, they were. If it wasn't, that the watershed moment was that safety. This is a team that's been battling all year long. The development of Devontae Parker has been a great find for Miami, a great move for Chris Greer. Why aren't you talking about that? That they convinced him to come back, that he wanted to come back. It's a great story. He wants to be a Dolphin. In a year where all you want to talk about is everybody wanted off this team, there's a guy that wanted to be on this team. Jerome Baker wants to be on this team. Davin Godchaux wants to be on this team. Christian Wilkins wants to be on this team. Well, why aren't we writing about all this? Why aren't we writing about all the guys that actually want to be on the team? And they're playing hard week in and week out. Why don't we talk about the really cool stories that are developing here for the Miami Dolphins? I don't understand that. And then we set these unrealistic expectations because, like I tell you, I'm as guilty as you and people in the media of being blind-ass fans. Because if you're talking about this being like some setback, how could it be a setback, dude? Every week they lose more talent to the IR, and every week they add fresh faces that you've never seen before. What are you building? How can you build on expectations when the roster continues to get worse and worse and worse every single week? Don't you have any common sense? That's what I'm talking about. This is why this season I feel for you, the Dolphin out there. Because you don't know who to listen to. And you don't know who to actually pay attention that is really knows what the hell they're talking about or understands what they're really seeing. And I get it. We've talked about this. Tanking sells more, gets more page views. So you want to get all over dramatic about all this stuff. So you want to then, it's a setback.
Sensationalism at its best.
Right. That's it. The entire season was set back because they brought it down to the bone, dude. If you didn't expect this, then I can't help you. Really, the fact that they won 3 games is amazing. And if they get a 4th next week against Cincinnati, it is stupendous. It's crazy. It's unpredictable. But don't give me this crap now that they're supposed to win games. Come on, man. I mean, it gets to a point where it's just ridiculous. It just is.
The one thing that was disappointing yesterday, because we've been able to get up off the mat. We've spotted teams. We talked about 24 minutes in the game, and we're down 16-0, and then we play them even. That safety was a punch in the gut, and it you know what I mean? We for like a quarter, it's like the 8-minute mark in the fourth quarter. You could see it like, deer in the headlights, man.
Yeah.
That safety messed us up.
Yeah. No,
and that shows the youth, the lack of experience, to not be able to overcome that type of a play.
It's just, I feel bad for you guys. I really do. Because there's so much craziness out there being talked about and written. And people just really don't understand what the Dolphins are doing. It's just, let me create my own agenda. Because for some weird reason, they would think that they're sitting back there trying to sabotage their own team, which is stupid. They're trying to find talent, bro. If you're trying to lose, how do you bring back your number 1 wide receiver? Everything that goes against tanking has been proven over and over and over. Do the tankers ever bring that up? They bring back, I must have been wrong about this tanking stuff because they don't need to bring back Devontae Parker. They could easily put him on the IR. They just signed him to a contract.
Go back and look at the podcast. Go back and look at the podcast from Thursday last week. You had talked about that exact specific item.
And I said, why would you bring him back? Because you want the confidence. And you don't want his last play to be a concussion. If you give a crap about him.
Second touchdown, bro. Wow.
Yeah, first or second. But the point is, he can now fit. Now, if he doesn't play the next 2 weeks, I'm good with that. I'm even better with that, actually. Seriously. Because he kind of ends it hey, that concussion, that's not me, dude. This is who I am right here. The guy that plays with confidence, the guy that can score, the guy's playing like a number one wide receiver.
And we have a future investment. We got $8 million on the signing and 21 guaranteed.
You guys can, the writers and the TV people and the radio people can focus on tanking. I'm the guy that tells you last week, or even over the weekend too. Going into next year, you've got your number 1 in Devontae, your number 2 into Preston Williams, your number 3 in Allen Hurns, and your number 4 in Jakeem Grant. You got a safety now that can cover tight ends, something that they haven't been able to do in 15 to 20 years, cover the tight end. You got a number 1 corner that you're going to get back next year. How come we don't talk about that? How come we don't talk about what we do on this show? But how come we don't talk about that quietly? They are preparing their team for next year because they identify the guys they like that fit roles that they need. They sign them to contracts, and they lock them down for next year. So now they know they've got their safety to cover tight ends in Eric Rowe. They know they've got their number 1 corner. They know they got their number 1 wide receiver. They know they got a number 2 wide receiver. How come we don't talk about that? I don't get that. How come we know that they've got a couple of really good young defensive tackles in Davin Godchow and Christian Wilkins? How come we don't talk about that? Oh, yeah, no, it's a setback. No, let's just focus on the negativity, and let's create our own negativity, actually, because we're creating unrealistic expectations. So while we create unrealistic expectations, since they can't meet our unrealistic expectations, let's penalize them. Right? A team that has no offensive line, no running game, the defense is all over their ass, but it's a setback. I'm sorry, did they have a running game before this? Did they have an offensive line before this game? Were they like winning every game every week? Were they in position for the playoffs? I'm sorry, I missed this setback thing. It's been like this all year, dude. All year. And I don't get it. I don't understand it. I can't pick up on it. Whatever. Look, man, I've ripped this team when it deserves to get ripped. Right now, it doesn't deserve to get ripped. Just doesn't. They're doing their part right now. Quietly, they are developing a team. That's what this is all about. All right, let's see. What do we got here? Good morning, all. Another week closer to the Combine and the draft. Amen to that. Next month, we'll be at the East West and the Senior Bowl. George says, preach, you're right on about this team and the media. This is all about evaluation and building a foundation with some of these young guys. Thanks for calling it like it is. Daniel says, I'm betting on Dolphins winning Super Bowl next year. Well, all right, Daniel. Daniel, it is 11:30. It's not even 4:20, bro, and you're smoking already. What's wrong with you, Daniel? Come on, bro. What are you hitting the stuff with the seeds? Come on, Daniel. You're going to have them pick the Super Bowl.
You know what? But let's stay right here. Because of what we've done, what we're building on, guys coming back, and then with our draft, you know there's going to be those people that, we're going to win 8 or 10 games, and we're going to, with the Patriots falling down and Buffalo not knowing, look, we may fight for the division, and you can hear it. You can feel it.
I just can't wait for this offseason to start. And here's the other thing, okay, that we could talk about here. After everything that we were talking about with the Dolphin season, and people were terrified about this season and all of that, there's 2 games left. We've gone through 14 of them, ladies and gentlemen. It really hasn't been that bad. I think it's actually been a pretty cool experience. It's been a really good year to build a foundation, to get the draft capital. Now we're going to start an exciting offseason. To me, it really didn't end up being as long as people thought it would be. The season's gone by pretty quickly. We've had some. It started off bumpy, right, because of the first couple of games. But after that, it's picked up. We've had a lot of really cool moments with this team that we didn't expect because they became competitive. They won some games. They built up some hope, even some false hope with some folks. That's a tribute. That's the other thing. That's a tribute to the coaching staff and to these players. That if they created any kind of hope in you or even unrealistic expectations, that's because they impressed you in some way, shape, or form. Think about it. It's just some people thought that they could be more than what they really are. And they can't. Because you can only be so much considering the talent that you have. And that's where you have to look at this team and you have to give them a lot of credit. They fight all the way to the end. We are almost at the end of the season. Go look at what's going on in Cleveland with a lot of talent. Okay? You got to build things the right way, ladies and gentlemen. They put together talent without culture. Culture's got to come first. You got to establish the way you're going to do things. And you don't do it with established players who are already set in their ways. You do it with a young foundation that doesn't know how to get there yet. And that's what they're doing now. That all of these young guys are learning how to do things. And the few times they've had success, it's because they've done things the right way, the way they wanted them to do it. So they're buying what you're selling. And we could say what we want about Quinn in Atlanta. He started off rocky, right? But look what's gone on the last few weeks. Those players have turned it around. They've played a lot better, and that's a tribute to the coach, actually. You know, I know with Dan Quinn it's been like this, but they have responded. They're not doing it in Cleveland. They're not responding to that coach. They're pointing fingers. Landry's screaming at the coach, and they're going back and forth at it. That's, ladies and gentlemen, that's why I tell you that when you look at this season, you can call it a setback and all that. I see a team that's together. I see a team that's playing for each other. I see guys that want to be here, and that's pretty cool. Look, I hated to lose Minkah Fitzpatrick, but if the dude doesn't want to be here and doesn't want to be a team player, well, then get lost, bro. Move on. And you know what? If everything goes well for him in Pittsburgh, good for him. But Miami or any team, you want players that want to be a part of what you're doing. And everybody else that's on this team wants to be a part of this. That's progress too. But why talk about it? Why talk about the fact that everybody's playing hard? Why talk about it that everybody plays together? Why talk about that nobody is pointing fingers? Right? Why talk about the fact that some players are developing and building blocks for the future? It's boring. That's why. That's boring. It's fun to talk about tanking. It's fun to talk about roster manipulation, which is not going on. You know, that's the kind of stuff that will sell papers and get you guys to click. Right? No matter what's going on with the Heat, somehow or another we got to bring up Dion Waiters, talk about the disaster that he is, right? Why? Because it's a train wreck. We're not satisfied just talking about all the great stuff that's going on with the Heat. No, we've got to bring on the train wreck. Because the train wreck will get you clicks.
Something really interesting, thinking about it. We signed Devontae.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you risk, concussion protocol? Who has come back in 1 week?
No, it happens.
But not often. Usually you're down for at least 2 or 3 minimum.
Well, because it was probably a mild case or something. You know what I mean?
It wasn't actually a concussion.
No. I'm sure there might have been some kind of level, something.
Cobwebs, whatever.
Maybe.
But not
whatever.
A concussion, though. I don't think you'd have him out there if there was any.
But either way, whatever
you wouldn't have him on the field.
Right.
Jeopardized. This is your future. You just signed him.
Yeah, but
if you're tanking, you say, "Oh no,
right.
we'll sit."
Yeah,
no.
You do what the Heat did the year they got the Michael Beasley pick. Oh, you got a cold? Yeah, you're on the IR.
Wade 15, 20 games.
Yeah,
Stop.
boom. That's it. They did that. The Heat did that. But the Dolphins they're not doing that. They're developing players. And part of that development is Devontae Parker. They've gotten out of Devontae Parker what nobody else has been able to get out of Devontae Parker. But why talk about that? Why? It's boring to talk about that. That's all. But it's almost over, folks. We got 2 games left. And after all that stuff, and you were worried about this season, it's gone by quickly. And personally, I've enjoyed it. And there's 2 weeks left, and I'm going to enjoy it. And then I'm looking forward to the offseason, because I think this offseason is going to be absolutely phenomenal. And our coverage is going to be beastly. So I can't wait, man. I really can. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic.
I have some sad news.
What do we have?
I just got a text from your wife informing me that in 30 minutes the tow truck company is coming to take your baby out of the front yard.
The TSX gone. The totaled TSX gone. That sucks. The Dolphin offensive line is awful. They need to draft at least 2 offensive linemen, pluck 1 or 2 from free agency. Yeah, they will. I'm sure they will. But I don't think that they're going to pay a lot of money in free agency. Guys, they're still going to be pretty bad next year. They're not going to solve every problem next year. It's impossible to solve every problem next year. They are going to have several holes next year. So do not expect a finished product next year. Next year will be developmental year number 2. I think it's years 3 and 4 where you start to take that step forward of being a good team to the playoffs and those kind of areas, I think in years 3 and 4. But years 1 and 2 are about development, and there's going to be a lot of struggles.
Oh, as far as our money, because there's a lot of people out there that are all, we got all this money, we could go get free agents. We have to stay the course, and if we go out and buy old guys, we revert right back, and all the advantages and ground we've gained this year, we go right back to square one.
Well, they already showed you what they're doing.
Cannot do that, right?
They're signing Alan Hearns, and they're going to sign Devontae, and they're signing Jakeem, and they're signing their own guys is what they're going to do. The guys that they develop, those are the guys that they're going to sign. They're not going to be spending big money in free agency.
And free agency would be guys coming off their rookie contract that have 4 or 5 more prime years, right? Mm-hmm. And that would be it.
Yep. Big O Chase Young is going back to college. Why now? He's going to be the number 2 overall pick. I don't know if you heard, but there's a follow-up to it, and Chase Young is not – that's not the decision – that he is going to leave. He actually said that he was got surprised by that, by being, approached about that, and that he hasn't made a decision on that he's just focusing on Ohio State. On the bowl game. He is not going to go back. He's going to go to the NFL. I don't believe he will.
Look, that's just being put out there because he does have some playoff games, championship possibilities with Ohio State.
Right.
And all that's going to do is cause you problems on the campus for the next month. You don't need that, man. You still have games to play. He needs to keep his head in Ohio State. Whenever his season ends, shortly thereafter, I'm going to the NFL. Thank you. He'll pack up his stuff, not go to another class, and bye-bye.
Yeah, he's gone. He's not going to pass up this opportunity. He has to take advantage because you look at Jadeveon Clowney. That's all you need to know. He suffered that knee injury, and that set him back. And while he's been a really, really good player, he never became the pass rusher that a lot of people thought he would be, because everybody thought he would be the guy that's going to get 14, 15, 18 sacks a year, and he's become the 9-sack guy is what he's become. Still a hell of a player, but not the impactful player that he can be, and that's why there's no way Chase Young comes back. It just makes no sense whatsoever for him to come back. So I would not expect that. That was just one of those things. I think, like Bill said, he didn't want to magnify it on Ohio State, so he kind of left it that way, and it's an easier way of saying it that, I'm still thinking about it. The plan is to come back to Ohio State and all that. Why declare now? And create that whole mess before the bowl game. George says, I would even argue I've enjoyed watching this Dolphins team more than many over the past 15 to 20 years. No squandered expectations, no drama, just kids playing their asses off, and it's very refreshing. Can I add something to that, George? Everything you said there is true. The most important part for me and why I've enjoyed this season is there's a method to the madness. My problem the last 20 years and why I have hammered the Dolphins over and over and over and over and over again, it's because they did things that did not make sense. Whether you keep Ryan Tannehill around, whether you sign Ndamukong Suh or Mike Wallace that you think he's a number one wide receiver. I mean, just the catastrophically stupid things that the Dolphins have done over the years. And trying to win free agency in the offseason and all of that over and over again. These are the things that I killed them for. This I have enjoyed because now I'm watching them build a football team the right way, where you're not throwing your money away, where you've gotten rid of all the bad contracts, where you've loaded up on draft capital, where you're trying in your first year to unearth as many young guys as possible that you can possibly build on. Because, see, what people don't understand is, again, on the football side, not the lazy side. Oh, it's tanking. Oh, they lost this game. Oh, it's a setback. It's very important to find great backups, excellent starters, key number 2 guys, whatever it is, decent players. That's what they're trying to do. And all of these young guys, they're going to find guys that are going to be back-end roster guys, key backups, and maybe they even find a key starter or two. I mean, Preston Williams could end up becoming a key starter. Eric Rowe, if he continues on this path where he's really good covering tight ends, okay, it's not a young guy because he's like 6-7 years in the league already, but he's still young enough that you can build on him for that role. That's what this is all about. And that's where I don't understand how people can't see that, to be honest with you. Okay? That's the part I really don't understand. Folks, if you got some roof leaks going on right now, you know the water stains, you get those brown stains on the roof or the walls. These are signs of possible Irma damage. And let me tell you something. You've got 9 months, okay, to reopen that Irma claim. So if you got some of that damage, don't let that actually linger because that could create way more problems. And if you got water, then it starts to develop mold, and then you start breathing that, please call my friends at East Coast Public Adjusters. They represent you, not the insurance company. Don't wait until it's too late. Call them right now for a free inspection. Less than 9 months now for your Irma claim, so let's reopen it. Don't settle for less. Call them, 855-GET-ECPA. That's 855-GET-ECPA.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit offers and 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used.
50% less.
A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SCT on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Codsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Codsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Hey, you realize that I just spoke for like 50 straight minutes? No commercial break, just 50 straight minutes of talk, and then
You know what?
It took
I'm going to make an assessment.
to like a 3-minute break now, and I'm back on.
I'm making an assessment. I think you're over that cold, bro.
No, I'm definitely not over the cold
No?
yet. No.
You're not out of the woods?
No, it's still there, dude. It's still lingering. But, obviously we're way better than we were, especially early last week. That was
Are you good for a couple minutes? I got to go run down and move
Yes,
the car.
yes.
Do you want to go say goodbye?
No, I already did.
Okay.
I already did. There you go. Give them that. Anyway, so yeah, they're picking up my TSX now. My totaled TSX. I'm gonna get a new car tomorrow. Oh Lordy, not fun, man. I really loved my car. My TSX was so good to me. God, I thought I would have it for a few more. It was easily gonna run for a few more years. Easily would run. That is one of the best cars that I've ever had in my life. The two most reliable cars I've ever had are my 280ZX 1983 and this 2010 TSX. Those are the two most reliable vehicles I've ever had in my life. Although wait a minute, the Toyota Camry hybrid I had was awesome. I got to say, I got to give the Camry a lot. The hybrid Camry was awesome. What a great vehicle that is. Yeah, I really love that TSX. I hate, in fact, I totaled it. And I'm still trying to decide what do I do. I was going to get an electric car, but I'm not ready yet. Plus, thanks to our president, who isn't Mr. Friendly for the environment, the tax breaks are brutal. They're not even, you got to encourage people to buy electric cars. It's like down to $1,800 from $7,000. And I wish they would have locked it in at $7,000. It would have made it a little more affordable, and it motivates more people to buy electric cars. I'll wait. My next car I'll get is going to be all electric. This time around, I don't know what I'm going to get. I'm going to get an SUV, or do I get a regular car? What do I get? I don't know what the hell to get yet. I got to decide, but I'll decide tomorrow. I will decide tomorrow. I got to have a vehicle by tomorrow so I can get around town because we are definitely not a mass transit type of place. Anyway, if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, it's really simple, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. You can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Matt Chatham is going to join us at 1 o'clock. We'll have some fun with Matt. And he works for The Athletic and Nesson and all that good stuff and works in New England and obviously former Patriot himself. So we'll get into it with Matt and we'll talk about Spygate 2 there with Matt. And I've got my thoughts on it. We gotta get into that. I've talked a little bit about it over the weekend. We've got the audio from the Patriot video guy and the Cincinnati folks going at it. We'll play that audio for you later on the program, so we'll get to that. We got to get into a little Heat talk too. I appreciate that. Go Gators says, get well soon, I just recovered from a cold myself. You got to take care of it early with the symptoms start to show. I'm with you, man. I'm taking those, I'm taking some antibiotics. You know, it's interesting because I know it's going around. There's this nasty ass stuff going around, and obviously I got some of it. I ran out of my Nature B, and I got sick like shortly after. You know what I mean? I gotta call Jeff Cook and Mike Buck and the folks and load up on my B again. So I can get the shield. But seriously, I ran out and I was lazy on the re-upping, and shortly after I get sick. That's weird because I've been taking Nature B for like 14, 15 years now. Okay? I take those 2 golden capsules every single day. I've got it on the way already. But I did screw up on that. That I will say. Because that... I don't know why, but that helps, man. It boosts my immune system. It does help me, and I'm not doing any commercials for them. I'm just saying it. Just, is
no, but you've been using it forever and
forever, dude. I swear by it. And energy-wise, it does help too.
You know what's one thing that I have found that works, and I got turned on to it by 2 or 3 people because I used to use Coldies, okay?
Yes.
And then I turned like 3 or 4 people on, and they all swear by it, and it's no kidding. Zicam. That spray stuff, if you get it in the first 10, 12, 24, and you use it like you're supposed to, it does shorten the length of your cold, and you're out of it within 2 to 3 days. Okay. Zicam really does work.
There you go. One guy says, Nature B sponsor list. Yeah, they need to come back to be a sponsor, Be another
you gave him some strong support there, brother.
Well,
and you have for what, 12, however long.
All my sponsors, I use them. If not, they're not on this show. Okay, pretty simple. If I don't believe, I don't just go sponsor anybody. No. When I tell you to go to Murias Dental, it's because I would do it too. By the way, today I get my Invisaligns. After I get off here today, I go get my Invisaligns so I can straighten out the bottom part of my teeth. So there you go. Looking forward to that. But that's how it is. I would not tell you, if I'm going to buy a vehicle, it's going to be, at Hollywood Toyota. It's going to be at Craig's in Acura. It's going to be, because I wouldn't. It's crazy.
No, you know what? I mean, obviously we've only been doing this together since March, but obviously us going back brothers for 38 years, I remember I got to go check this out. It's signed, sealed, delivered, blah, whatever, from whatever station, but no, I got to go check it out.
Yeah.
You got to go take it for a test drive.
Yep, exactly. Definitely, man.
You got integrity, brother.
I don't know about integrity. It's just that.
No, but when you put your seal on it, it isn't like you say. We drive Acuras.
Right.
Every car in front of the house is Acura.
Yeah, I can't tell somebody to go do this and I wouldn't do it myself, man. That doesn't make any sense. So Matt Chatham will join us at 1. We'll talk about Spygate 2. We'll carry the Brian Flores press conference for you at 2:30. We'll react off of that too, also on the program. So we've got that to talk about. I will say this, the Miami Heat are back in action tonight, taking on the Grizzlies at 8 o'clock. They had a nice win against Dallas on Saturday, and then they lost against the Lakers. They got screwed against the Lakers because with a minute left, I don't really complain too much about the refs, like I told you over the weekend, if you listen to any of the podcast over the weekend. But I'm not a fan of complaining about referees and all that. I find that to be loser talk most of the time. But when it's 1 minute left in the game and you make that kind of call, that's a game-changing, game-altering play right there, because you're down by 3, and Duncan Robinson easy could tie that game with a shot right there and then, and we've got a whole new ball game. And that terrible call, that double dribble call that they didn't call on Rondo, which the NBA then came out with their 2-minute report, and there were a couple of calls against the Lakers in at the end of that game that they did not call that screwed the Heat. But my point is, the sorries don't help. None of that helps. But this team, I mean, they easily could have won that game, okay? And then they go out and on a back-to-back night. And look, I get it that what's it called? Doncic goes out, but they recovered really nicely. And they gave them a hell of a game. And I know some of you out there, well, they had a 24-point lead. They shouldn't lose and all that. It happens, man. In the NBA, it happens. I mean, Miami beat Milwaukee without Jimmy Butler. So it's not like other teams don't step up sometimes, even without their best player, and surprise others. And that's what Dallas did. Their best player went out. Everybody else picked it up. Plus, they have a star in Porzingis. So it's not like they're void of a star on the court. Porzingis is a star.
Oh, they also got some nice little pieces, man. Hardaway Jr.
Brunson and Hardaway was unconscious.
The Bray kid.
Yeah, J.J. Barea.
He's
a heat killer.
Some big shots.
Heat killer. J.J. Barea is
He's taking over Eddie Jones's old heat killer title.
Yeah, man. Absolute heat killer, man. Tell you, that dude is a pain in our ass, J.J. Barea. Man, he loves playing against the Heat. But I love the resiliency of you lose that lead, you got to fight back to get into it, and then you take it into overtime and you win the game. That, to me, is a tribute to that team. On the road, back-to-back set, great energy. And let me tell you, that was a quiet triple-double by Bam until the end. And the end is when he put an exclamation point on that performance. And that was cool to see that they were able to do something like that and get that split on that back-to-back night, win for the first time on a back-to-back set because they were 0 for 4 going into that back-to-back set. And they're 5-0 now in overtime, actually. So it's a good thing if you're a Miami Heat fan when they go into overtime. Not good for their legs, not good for their bodies, but good for the result because they're 5-0 now.
On a back-to-back night and get through OT.
Yeah.
But Bam, those two rebounds, the rebound put-back slam, and the rebound on Jimmy's misses.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and Jimmy did not have a good ending. Lazy pass, lazy three, missed free throws at the end. But again, he's the only guy that was like going forward and busting his ass and doing whatever he can and kept him in the game too, on top of all of that. And then I was wondering who was going to step up because nobody was stepping up towards the end of that game. And then Bam and Hero came up with some big plays to really assist Jimmy in the end.
None in the OT. None in the OT hit a nice three.
Yeah, a huge three.
Yep.
It was an enormous three that Nunn hit.
And you know what? The first shot, and I think in the overtime, Nunn takes it. It's like 16-footer, and it hits the front of it like barely touches the front of the rim. You could see he had no legs, man.
Yeah.
You know, from the back-to-back.
Yeah, it happens, man. Saturday's victory by the Heat was amazing. Dallas is a very good team. Back-to-back and winning on the road was awesome. I agree with you. 72 Fins logo. What else do we have here? What Mono 100 Scholes says, and if it's a different player every night, that's what I like about this Heat team. You're right. And this is why they're so good at supporting each other too, because the culture is set with the Heat. We all know it. And it really is amazing that when you're able to take away the knuckleheads and the drama, how everything can flow. And that's really what's going on with the Heat. Look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers have 3 knuckleheads. They got rid of 2 of them. Okay? They left Ben Roethlisberger alone, so he's all by himself now. But I guess he's kind of smart enough to figure out, okay, I got to stop, making any waves because they got rid of the other 2 idiots that would make waves. So so now Pittsburgh is in a much better place right now as a football team, and they've responded. The Miami Heat had Whiteside. You have Deion Waiters. You have all this stuff going on. Now you get rid of both, because you've basically kind of casted Deion aside with all this stuff, with all the multiple suspensions and pretty much limiting him, and you got rid of Whiteside, and look how the team is now. There is more chemistry. There is now more, Now it's easier to play guys because now you can break the minutes up the right way. Bam can play. Remember what we were just talking about with the Dolphins in the first hour, talking about why you're going to hang on to old guys? Because then you can't develop young guys. Same thing here. But why do you want to keep hanging on to Whiteside? That's going to stop you from developing Bam. And now Bam has had the opportunity that he did some of this stuff last year, but it was more in flashes. Now he's on every night.
Consistent every night.
And he gets to give you that performance, that support, that professionalism every single night. And that's the fun part about this team, that there's no drama, there's no idiots. You don't have to put up with it. Look at the Browns. They're full of idiots. Jarvis Landry, an idiot. Odell Beckham, an idiot. Baker Mayfield, the biggest idiot of the 3. Believe it or not, Baker Mayfield, I believe, is the biggest idiot out of the 3. And look what you have with that team. Because if you have those kind of players, no matter how talented they are, they're going to weigh down your football team or basketball team or anything.
Talking about Heat culture, can I tie it up and put a bow on it, bro? This is you and me Thursday at Doral Animal Services talking exactly post Michael Lee about Heat culture.
You'll hear people say culture because one of the few places in all of pro sports, not just the NBA, all of pro sports, that has an established and known culture is the Heat.
And everybody understands it's not just how we develop players, this, that. It's how those players come back and become coaches.
Right.
And they become head coaches of other teams and guys that go on to TV. And like
Juwan Howard's got one of the best basketball teams in the country.
You are part. The Heat is a family. If you're Heat ever, you're family, man.
Yeah.
And it's special, and everybody around the league knows that.
And you're taught the right way on how to do things overall. First class. That's what happens.
First class.
Right. That's what happens all throughout that organization. Everything's first class. Everything. And people are taught the right way, and it's just a great organization. It just is. And you got the team now. The guys are playing that way because everybody's comfortable. Everybody feels good. Everybody's supportive of each other. Everybody sells out for each other. And that's really, really important. And that's why this Heat team is fun to watch. And like one of our listeners just said, that it's somebody different every single night because that environment allows you to be that. And here's the other thing. Your most important player is Jimmy Butler. Jimmy did not come in with, I need my shots, I need the ball, I need to be the center of attention. He has not taken that attitude. And because he has not taken that attitude, what's infectious is the team attitude. And that's what he's all about. And if you have a player that is driven by selfishness and being self-centered, then that is going to create that kind of environment, and everybody else is then going to take on that kind of attitude. And then when everybody has an agenda, then all of a sudden you get completely derailed because there isn't a team agenda. You watch the Heat, it's team agenda. It's, I will make the extra pass because my teammate has a better shot than I do. It's not, yeah, he's got a better shot, but I need my shots. I need my points. I need my incentives. It's not what it's about. And when you have, that's when they've been at their best, that's who they are. And you've watched them over the last couple of years because of certain individuals, and you can really pinpoint it, man. I mean, look at Portland. It's not like Portland's making any progress with Whiteside and Melo, and you're not ever going to make anything. You can give Melo every bogus Western Conference Player of the Week award that you want. He is what he is, and so is Whiteside. And those are not guys that are conducive to having a team game. Okay? Bam is going to sell out. Did you hear him over the weekend when they were talking about his performance? He took he goes, hey, the way we are structured, we got a bunch of shooters. We got to get them involved. So he's not thinking about 25 shots. He's thinking about, I got to play defense. I got to rebound. I'll get my points whenever they're there. But if Duncan Robinson's open, I'm getting him the ball. And if Tyler Hero's open, I'm getting him the ball. And if Jimmy Butler's cutting, I'm getting him the ball. Because Whiteside will never come close to being the assist guy that Bam is. I mean, Bam will come up every night or any night 4 or 5 assists easily. It'll take
it's almost without even trying, bro.
Right. It'll take Whiteside a month to get 5 assists. That's the difference. When you have players that are willing to sacrifice for someone else, then these are the results that you're going to end up with. And this is why we're watching the Miami Heat dominate with a 19-7 record. They're second in the Eastern Conference. They got a shot at winning their 20th game of the season tonight.
Man.
Okay? 20th already. They can be 20-7 after tonight. That's pretty freaking awesome.
Would have never guessed this, man.
No, never. Never.
You know what's something, a little caveat to throw on top, talking about the culture in this and when you're with the Heat, post your career, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
After Friday night's game, to get the national perspective, not the homer, I switched to NBA channel. Who's sitting there in the studio? Jeff Van Gundy, Steve Smith.
Right.
The very next night, post Dallas, who's sitting there? Caron Butler with Jeff Van Gundy. I'm like, dude, this is so cool. This is so what we just talked about. Heat culture.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And those are guys that know all about it. Mono says, Finn's logo, I think Waiters has been too immature and injury prone. The Heat should move him. I was excited for him for the season after the season, but my excitement for him has dwindled. First of all, move him for what? What? Who's trading for Dion Waiters? If you've read the articles, what's going on is they want to buy him out, but he doesn't want to take less money. He wants his full salary this year and next year to get bought out, and the Heat don't want to do that. I mean, if he wants to really play. So then the Heat have got to kind of deal with this whole thing. But nobody is trading for Dion Waiters, okay? Dion Waiters made himself untradeable. Okay? Say it with me. Dion Waiters is untradeable. So don't blame... You got to blame Pat Riley for signing Dion Waiters. At this point now, it is what it is, and that's it. They're stuck with him. But I don't think they want to do the buyout where they break it out into certain years, because that's going to create problems for their cap down the line. The good thing is if you can get by the next year and a half and just keep them away, then that's fine. Then do that, man. Suck it up and do it. The beauty is you have a culture in place and you have players that don't give a rat's ass about Dion Waiters. Okay? Nobody talks about him. Nobody says, Dion's a good guy. We can use him. Nobody ever says anything. You noticed that, right? Have you noticed that no teammates come out of their way? Nobody's gone out of their way to talk about Dion and want to make a case for him and help him. No, man. No. If he was that beloved and that respected, you would hear it over and over again from guys. But they know he's a knucklehead. You know he's a knucklehead. I know he's a knucklehead. The Heat know that he's a knucklehead. So the beauty is a guy like that will not affect team chemistry. And that's pretty cool because these are things that normally become a problem for a team. But where their position right now, I just told you, they got a shot tonight at going 20-7. And Dion Waiters has nothing to do with this. And they know that, you know that, and I know that. So guess what? They are who they are, and they are who they're going to be with or without Dion. They don't need him. They know that. And that's the beauty. Now, you keep Ryan Fitzpatrick on the bench, and you keep putting Josh Rosen out there, and he keeps failing and not knowing what to do, then everybody in the locker room goes, man, you got to play Fitz. That gives us the better chance. You'll get a better effort from everybody, all of that. This is the fine line you walk when you got to deal with players that either belong or don't belong in your culture. And the players know this. So you've got to do your part as an organization and understand. And Brian Flores, to his credit, and my failed point of view, because remember, I was one of those that said, no, I want to see Rosen. I want you to play Rosen. But he had the bigger picture, and he knew he had to play Fitzpatrick to assess everybody else, and that it would be easier to assess everybody else and maybe watch others grow because of Fitz. You won't be able to assess others, and you won't see them grow with Rosen. Same thing here. You get to assess, you get to succeed because you don't have waiters and you don't have to deal with that. You don't have Whiteside, you don't have to deal with that. That baggage will bring you down. And the beauty is right now, this is baggage that you don't need. The worst thing is when it's a guy that's bad, i.e. Jeff Thomas, and you got to beg him to come back because you have no talent and you need anything that you can, and you bring him back. And look, did it help out? No. Why? Because Jeff Thomas is a knucklehead, just like Whiteside is, just like a lot of these guys are, and you got to watch out.
What did Jeff Thomas make? 2 plays all year?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yes. Jeff Thomas is a waste. Complete waste.
Hot off the presses.
Total knucklehead.
Hot off the presses, by the way. 2 companies are fighting for Dion Waiters' endorsement. Harbo Gummies and Orville Redenbacher.
Nice. There you go. I like it. How come Airheads isn't involved? Do you think Rosen can develop into a starter? Javier, I think he can. The only thing is that right now he's so remedial, and I think that the Dolphins are they like sent him back to school basically. And the offseason will be the telltale sign. He's going to have to study hard in the offseason, work harder than anybody else has ever had in the offseason, because they're going to draft somebody, and then they're going to throw him into a competition. And that'll be his last chance to prove that he learned a lot in the last year and that he made the kind of improvements that he can become a starting quarterback. He has all the tools. He's a smart guy. He just has to be taught the game at this level, and that's what they're doing now. So I think that's what's going to happen. He'll get one more chance, and it'll be next year. And he'll be in the open competition with whoever it is, the draft pick. Because whoever the draft pick is, they're not going to hand him the job like they did to Ryan Tannehill also. They will put competition there because that's how you do things. So I expect him to come back next year and get a chance at that job then. And he better be ready for it. It's up to him now. It really is. But it's not his fault either, because at UCLA, they didn't go far enough to teach him what they're supposed to. And then when he gets drafted by Arizona, They don't even teach him how to find the middle linebacker. And I guess when they found out that he didn't know it, they're like, okay, it's too late to teach him now. Let's work around it. We'll have the center make the calls and all of that. And Flores and this staff are like, no, that's not how it goes. The quarterback needs, and I agree with Flores, your quarterback needs to know every part of that offense. He needs to know every type of blocking scheme. He needs to know where that middle linebacker is coming from. He needs to know every route that's being run and where everybody is at every moment of every single second on that field. So I'm with them. You got to teach your quarterback, and they didn't teach the kid. So now that's their responsibility. They found out how raw he is. Now they've got to teach him. So that's really what it's all about. But we'll find out next year. It's up to Rosen. But this year, he's not starting. Last 2 games, and again, I'll say, I dead wrong, man. I couldn't have been more wrong. And Coach Flores, man, it's a good call on his part to go back to Fitzpatrick and to stay with Fitzpatrick. Because maybe we don't see Devontae Parker play this well. And we don't see Isaiah Ford get to shine that one time. And we don't get to see Mike Gesicki grow and all those little things.
We don't re-sign Hearns.
Maybe. Maybe not. Who knows? If you don't get to assess Hearns, that would be tough. You know what I mean? So that's why all of this is really, really important for the Miami Dolphins. 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, that's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the show, the other way to reach out to us is on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always. I got a bunch of things that I want to get to. We've got the Patriots and Spygate. Want to get a little bit into that. I got some stuff I want to unload here about the Patriots that I want to talk about. The Browns, they are a train wreck, a disaster. Landry and Kitchens were going at it. We got some sound we want you to hear about that. If you haven't heard the sound, by the way, of the Patriots videographer, whatever you want to call the guy, Dave Mondillo, you got to hear this because this is some classic stuff. We're going to play that for you on the other side. Raiders wrap up their history in Oakland with their final game in Oakland. Got some news coming out of Jacksonville. We got some baseball news also want to talk about. Got a college coach that is making the rounds. The Panthers are back in action tonight, taking on the Senators. We've got Monday Night Football, Indy and New Orleans, the Heat and the Grizz. I mean, there are so many things to talk about, man, that we got to get into here on the program. Yes, a little NBA spreads, give you my opinions on that. Speaking of spreads, I'm the only one that came through on Friday, correct?
Well, yeah, that would be correct.
Yeah.
The fish,
And
you know what should have been a factor.
And the homer pick for my man Steve.
You know
what? Philadelphia, right? Well, no, wait a minute. I think he covered. Wait a minute. I think he might have covered.
Yeah, the touchdown at the very end of the game.
He might have covered.
Which would be one of those bad beats,
Well, no, not in his case.
Well, no, but if you're the other
that's
side,
a good beat,
it's
right?
one of those crazy last minute. What was it? 6 points?
Yeah, I think so. I'm
pretty sure it was 6 points.
Trying to find the here it is.
Philly giving 6, right?
It was Philly 9.5. Oh no, I'm sorry, but that's Patriots. Which, by the way, that's another one that I like. The Patriots and the Vikings.
You were right about that.
And the Vikings. The Vikings I loved.
Yeah.
That one I loved. It was, where's the Philly game? -4.5, so they covered.
You know what was the mistake? Not factoring in it being Eli's last game. And then the fact that there's another never played with the Dolphins, Nate Brooks, in our set. You're like, how much weaker can that secondary?
Yeah.
It's like.
No, it's a setback.
Oh, come on.
It's a setback.
Expectations.
They were supposed to do the 72 Dolphins. They were supposed to go undefeated. It's a setback. That's what it is. 72 Logos asking me, do you think the Finns need to draft a defensive tackle or pass rushing linebackers? Not D tackles. I like our D tackles. Now, pass rushing linebacker, hey, man, go for it. Yes. An outside werewolf, yes. They got to have that. If they're going to go, they're going to play 3-4 a lot. So, yes, you need a werewolf on the outside. I'm there for you. No doubt.
Need a defensive end.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but if you're 3-4, that defensive end isn't necessarily a major pass rusher. And you're 3-4.
You need a Khalil Mack that could put his hand down in the ground or play standing up.
Right. But Khalil Mack is not an ideal end for a 3-4. He's an ideal outside linebacker in a 3-4 that can pass rush and hold the point on the outside. That's probably what it is. So that's where you got to kind of walk that fine line. So if we're going defensive end, it's probably more of a run stopper than really a pass rusher, unless you're freakish like Richard Seymour was. And even having said that, they didn't keep him long term. They used him up for the first contract, and I think it was just the first contract, and then they got rid of him. I think they didn't even pay him his second contract, which is crazy. But that's how it goes with the Pats. So I don't know what philosophy they're going to inherit there with the Miami Dolphins. I'm not sure. That's one we're gonna find out down the line. All right, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. I've been telling you about Moody's Dental, and Eric has been not just now a proud sponsor of our show, but he's been listening to our show. He told me things about myself that I forgot. He's been listening for 15-plus years, not only a proud sponsor, but a loyal listener. And that's why I tell you, folks, Moody's Dental, great sponsor, great listeners. Support the people that support us. They're implant and Invisalign experts. I'm getting my Invisaligns today because I got some issues in the bottom of my teeth, and they are going to correct them. You're going to get to see the before and after pictures. It's going to be awesome. And, folks, this is the last month of the year, so take advantage of those insurance benefits for 2019 before they run out, and they're all gone. They don't roll over. Call Moody's Dental right now. Fix those teeth for the New Year's, man, for the holidays, all those holiday parties. 305-821-0231. Call Eric and the great people at Moody's Dental. 305-821-0231. Go to moody'sdental.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Codsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Codsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit offers and 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SCT, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
I am so freaking pumped. I gotta tell you, man. This has been the best, doing this and putting all of this together and being able to broadcast every day for you guys and and all the other things that we're developing behind the scenes.
Let me let everybody know. I was just talking to the people a little bit about the East-West Shrine game we're going to be at, of course.
Right.
And every time you talk about anything pertaining to information in the draft, you get giddy like a little kid with a new toy, man.
Yeah, because I know my Dolphins are going to be great. That's why. I guess I'm crazy. I guess I'm a blind-ass fan and all that good stuff, but I think we're headed in the right direction. I really feel in my heart of hearts, man, that the Dolphins are finally headed in the right direction. They're doing things that real football teams do, and I am super excited to cover it because I've been frustrated because I've been doing this for 20 years, going to all these things and watching other teams do the right things and then watch our team completely do all the buffoonery. Now, I think the buffoonery is gone. And I think now we're going to see really good moves, and we're going to see a team that's going to be trending in the right direction. And all those people that were talking about tanking, a lot of them have kind of realized that they're wrong. They haven't gone all on board yet. But then you'll see a year from now, they're going to go, hey, wow, we were making fun of the Dolphins, and they're actually headed in the right direction. They're rebuilding this thing, and it's looking good. You'll see. You'll see. It's kind of like the Heat, right? You didn't know how good they are, and then all of a sudden you keep watching them, and then you start to believe because you see that they're doing it the right way. That's all. So I am as excited as it gets about this offseason and the things that we're going to be able to do and especially the coverage that we're going to provide that nobody else in town can provide. And that's what the Dolphin deserves, right? In the end, that's what you guys are going to get because nobody else in town can talk draft. Nobody else in town is going to cover the draft. I'm the only one that's been covering it like this for 20 years in town as it is. Forget what station I've been on. Doesn't matter what station. Whatever station I'm on is where you get the best draft coverage, period. End of story. And that's not going to change.
From Real Deal Draft, first day, East-West Shrine is the first.
Yes.
To the end, being that Saturday, April 25th in Vegas when the draft ends.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but
wall
post
to wall,
that,
baby.
But post that, and this is major, kind of like the way we were able to pick up Preston Williams.
Right.
The undrafted free agents that are out there that you don't have to do nothing but go, hey, I want you, and sign them to a 90-day contract, I guess, is the first when you get those undrafted free agents?
I don't know. It's a year. You sign them in a year contract.
You do?
Yeah. It's just they're not guaranteed. And
right, okay.
Those kind of
There's
guys.
no ramifications if you say, see ya.
Yeah. Those kind of guys, you're completely protected because they're just making it from week to week, basically, is the way that they kind of survive. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the show. The other way to reach out to us is on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. And on Instagram at Big O Radio Show. That's the other way to reach out to us here on the program. Got a bunch of things to talk about. Let's get into a little Spygate, right? I think we got to get into a little Spygate since we got Matt Chatham coming our way here at the top of the hour. And we'll talk to him, the former Patriot. And you guys know the story now. The videographer, Dave Mondillo, or Mondillo, I'm not exactly sure. Is he Hispanic? Mondillo. Is he American? Mondillo. I don't know. I don't know which one it is. But anyway, so the videographer, who has been suspended by the team, okay, he was caught filming a Do Your Job segment that they do on the website. Now, the film and the video clearly shows there's no scout in it. There's nothing. Okay, they are filming the sidelines, They are filming the substitutions, all that stuff, right? And so there's audio because Jay Glazer, and when Jay wants to break stories, dude, that guy is going to break a story, and you're not going to stop him from it. That guy's connected as it gets. He's really, really good. And so Jay got a hold of this video that has audio, and you're going to hear the Cincinnati people questioning the videographer of the Patriots. Okay? Now, listen to this exchange. I want you to listen to this because you got to listen to the words that are being, spewed from the Patriot videographer.
And this is a piece you're showing in your advanced scout? Yeah. Yeah. Come on, guys. I don't see the advanced scout in this footage. No, it's not. We were trying to get some field perspective like that. That's not the deal.
First of all, he says, I don't see the advanced scout. Well, we're trying to get field perspective. Well, that's not field. You're getting the sidelines. You're getting the substitutions where the signals are being called, all of that, okay? Exchange continues.
That's why you would think you could take that. I didn't know. But I can delete this right here for you.
I can delete this right now if you want. Oh, why? Why are you offering to delete it already? Because you already know you're guilty? Right away, I'll delete it. Oh, I know I did something wrong. Well, you know the rules then. Right? I mean, that's kind of what it is. You've been surprised at that moment, right? Listen.
Damage is done, my friend. No, it isn't.
I can delete it if you want. The damage has been done, my friend. In other words, we caught you cheating already.
Because we deleted it. Once again, I can't do There's no way I can get that footage back. I'm being honest with you. And I don't have a computer to even put it anywhere. Once this card's, that's it. Yeah, I don't see the advanced scout in any of this video they shoot.
So he's telling him, no, I'll delete it, and there's no way of me retrieving it and all that. Well, of course, because retrieving it would mean that you would be cheating because you filmed something that you weren't supposed to be supposed to be filming. And then the guy follows up with, I don't see an advanced scout in this because there was no advanced scout. Now, you have to understand this. If you're the New England Patriots, you have lost all benefit of the doubt. And plausible deniability is not something that you can play in this game. Okay? And Bill Parcells is going to play plausible deniability in all of this. Oh, they have nothing to do with us. We did not order them this and that. So now they suspend the guy. I mean, if you're eagerly filming this, there must be a reason. And this information may not be direct from Bill, but somehow indirectly it'll get to Bill. And here's the most important part about all of this in Spygate 2. Okay? This is what you got to understand about what's going on with Spygate 2. Bill Belichick has created a culture of cheating. They have been busted cheating several times now. And this is another one. And that's why you have no benefit of the doubt. And let's just say, for craps and giggles, let's just have some fun with this. Let's say that Belichick knows nothing about this. He really doesn't. But see, here's the problem. Even if you don't know about it, what you've done as an organization has created that culture that opens the door for others in your organization to be motivated to cut corners. Now, they kicked the Bengals' ass this weekend. They didn't need to cheat. And the Patriots, come on, man, let's be honest. They're not winning all these championships because they're cheating. Does it help? Yeah, of course it helps. But more often than not, you're winning these games because you're just better than most people and you're better prepared. But you're also willing to cheat. And that's been proven over and over again with the Patriots. And this is why, people will tell you that when they go to that stadium, somehow or another, there always seems to be technical difficulties with the radio compared to other stadiums. They will tell you that that story from one of the writer, I forgot his name now, from last year, the year before, that they send secondary employees to the hotels, to the team hotels, to try to find if players left playbooks behind or anything to try to get an edge. You hear about all these stories about the Patriots and that teams don't want to hold meetings inside the locker rooms and that they'll go out onto the field to talk because they're afraid that they're mic'd up somewhere and they're hidden microphones all over. So the paranoia is there, the proof is there, the examples are there, so the culture's in place. And that's where you get no benefit of the doubt if you're Bill Belichick. That's why I say you have to suspend him. I said it over the weekend. You've got to suspend Bill Belichick. You suspended Sean Payton for Bullygate, right? For Bountygate, right? Well, how many more times are you going to be an offender? You are a habitual offender of rules. You cheat on a consistent basis. You've been caught cheating on a consistent basis. This is cheating. Whether you knew or didn't, it's under your watch. They wear your logo. Why is it that all the other teams aren't getting busted on a consistent basis for cheating? Can you explain that one to me? So you either have a culture of winning or you have a culture of cheating, or in the Patriots' case, you have both. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and be naive and be ignorant and say, well, that's the only reason they win titles. Of course not. They're damn good and they're well coached and they're well prepared, but they're willing to be so well prepared that they're also willing to cheat in order to be prepared. Those are the facts. That's the proof we have. That's what we've seen from this group. So that's why you've got to suspend him. You've got to send the kind of signal to the NFL that this is unacceptable. And here's the other thing. You have 31 other teams that are looking at this going, well, wait a minute, man. How many more times are you going to catch this guy cheating or his people cheating? And you can't, you don't need proof whether Belichick's involved or not anymore. If it was one incident, then I get it. If it's a rogue guy and all that stuff, then it is what it is. You fire that guy and you move on. But in this case, it doesn't matter if he's rogue or not. This is the wrong organization to be busted for cheating. This is the wrong organization that you want to be associated with anything that looks like cheating, even if it's not. Because you're the organization that should not get any break whatsoever. Because you have cheated, you are cheaters, and you've been caught cheating. That's the way it is. That's how it's always been. And that's why you've got to do something serious with Bill Belichick. You've got to suspend him. And you've got to send that message to the rest of the league that this will not be tolerated. A fine does nothing. They make way too much money nowadays for a fine to be any kind of a factor. I mean, Kraft is going to laugh at your ass if you fine them $50,000 or $500,000 or $1 million or $5 million or $10 million. It really doesn't matter. That money does not matter.
That's kind of funny how you went from 100,000 or 50,000, I'm sorry, to 10 million.
Yes.
And yeah, they laugh at it.
10 million or a win, give me the win. That's what they're going to tell you. That's all. Hey, did it help us win a game? Yes. All right, 10 million, I don't care. Because that's one more win that puts us in the AFC Championship game or home field advantage, which gets us to a Super Bowl, which helps us sell so many more tickets and suites and all kinds of paraphernalia and a lot of money in our pockets. Line it up.
You know what you just said, where Buffalo's at? Yeah, the division. They would be a wild card team and wouldn't have a home playoff game. How much money is a home playoff game worth?
Right. So if that cheating helped you with one win, to them, 10 million is worth it. That's why the money is not going to do anything. It will not make an impact. You will not teach them a lesson. Clearly you're not teaching them a lesson because they continue to do it. That's it. And again, I'm sorry, I am not looking at this and giving them a break whatsoever. Whether Bill knew it or he didn't, I don't care. It's on him. And at one point or another, you got to make that guy pay the price. That's it. It's ridiculous. 786-322-1105. Oh, I smell Devontae Parker as Deion Waiters, except attitude. Big new contract, 7-game flash, injury prone. I would have paid him number one money if he's truly a number one. So then you don't pay him? I don't know. I don't know what that means. And to compare Devontae Parker and Deion Waiters, wow, dude, that's like a terrible comparison. Deion Waiters is a punk. Devontae Parker is a good dude, bro. I'm not sure what you're watching, but, what can I tell you? Can't hear you on YouTube. I guess that was earlier, right? Yeah, at 11:04, yes. We are back on. Big O, if the Raiders offer you their 14th and 18th projected picks and Derek Carr for Miami's 3rd overall, would you take it, Eugene and Homestead? Wow, it's a great question. They offered you their 14th and 18th picks and Derek Carr. Probably not at this point. Only because Derek Carr has been injury prone. And that's the only thing that I worry about. I like him as a player. I think he's all right, actually. And I don't know if they would offer that. I mean, that's a lot to offer, too. Derek Carr, 14th, 18th, and for the 3rd overall pick.
2 number ones, man.
I know, and a quarterback. But now you got to be – I like Derek Carr, too, man. He's just had his share of injuries. That's the only thing I worry about with him. But he can play, man. He can play. That's not a bad deal. Eugene, I got to tell you, you got me thinking. That's not a bad deal there. The only thing I'm worried about is the injuries, but, man, that's a lot of picks. That's 2 picks and a player. That's pretty good, Eugene.
Speaking of Carr and the Raiders, that sliding out of bounds stuff yesterday, did you see it? That was horrible.
Yeah.
The league gets another call wrong.
Wrong, yeah. My friend's father was a Navy captain. One night, the ship he commanded ran aground. Ever thought, even though he was asleep when it happened, he was dishonorably discharged. Why? You're the captain. It's your fault. Okay? I'm with you. That's understandable. I got no problem with that. And that's why, for me, Belichick needs to be suspended because it's under his watch. And if that's an overzealous guy that wants to get some – hey, remember, Andy Ellisberg started in the ticket department for the Heat. And Eric Spoelstra was a film guy. So maybe this is an overzealous film guy that wants to get some info, pass it on to an assistant coach who then passes it on eventually to Belichick. And Belichick doesn't ask where he got it from. He just wants the information. That's why it could be plausible deniability. But to me, it doesn't matter. That means you've instilled a culture of cheating. And then that means that others are cheating, and you acting like Sergeant Schultz. I know nothing. I see nothing. No, that doesn't fly, bro. No, doesn't fly.
Like you and me had talked about, it's like the way the NCAA comes down on universities. There's a lack of institutional control.
Right, that's what it is. Yeah. Who still questions the Miami Heat can't make it to the NBA Finals? I'm not ready to say that they're an NBA Finals type team. I don't think they can beat Milwaukee in 7. They got to show me a little more than that to be able to beat the Greek Freak in 7, or even the Boston Celtics in 7. Those teams are better than Miami. They should beat Miami in 7. So I would say that right now it's not realistic to think, and you shouldn't think that the Heat can get to the NBA Finals. Now, can the Heat have a high seed? Yeah, a hell of a lot higher than I thought. Yeah. I would go with that. But I don't know about any kind of demands or expectations that they can be in the Eastern Conference Finals, or just a realistic point of view that they can make it. I don't think they should. I don't think they have enough experience or the right people yet to do that. Now, maybe a couple months from now I'll change my tune because they prove they can. But at the moment, I'll say no, because they're not better than a couple of teams. The Sixers, the Celtics, and the Bucks will probably all beat them in a 7-game series.
There's a major component that we need to think about here.
What's that?
When we all know when you get to the playoffs, it's a different animal.
Right.
And until you have playoff experience, you don't have it. You can't buy it. You only earn it, and we have none.
None. Yeah, except for Jimmy. Jimmy obviously has some. That's the only guy, and that's not enough.
No,
it's not enough. One guy is not enough. The young guys are. It's not enough. O'Shea Morris says the Heat are a playoff team. They're not title contenders. Oh hell yeah, O'Shea. Oh yeah, no, they're top 4 now, O'Shea. That's what I did not expect. That's where I would concede with that. I won't concede finals. I won't concede that because I think there are 3 teams clearly better than Miami, and they should beat Miami in a 7-game set. But can Miami be the 4th team in the conference? Yes. 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 No doubt.
One little twist we need to throw in. We do have a trade deadline. And Riley is incredible. It's highly unlikely, like you've explained with the cap and we're really strapped down. We're stuck where we're at. But if anybody can pull it off, dude, you know it's Riles.
I agree. I just don't think it's going to happen. Not this time around. Maybe next year when those contracts are closer to expiring, nobody's going to want Dion. So they're screwed there. They just got to.
You're wrong, bro. Harbaugh, Gummies, and frickin' Orville Redenbacher want him badly, bro.
They just gotta keep suspending his ass, and that way they keep taking away some of his salary. Because he's already lost. He's lost a combined $1.4 million on 3 suspensions. That's crazy, dude. 3 suspensions, $1.4 million. Damn, do you know how many gummies he could have bought for $1.4 million? Hey, you've lost $1.4 million in gummies, bro.
You could have bought a whole plane full.
Yeah, exactly. Damn straight. That's a lifetime supply of gummies right there, $1.4 million. Damn, Dion. You could have had snacks for the rest of your life there. You gave it away. Now those snacks will cost you $2.8 million now because you're still going to buy it. Telling you, Dion, you gotta get that wake-up call, dude. All right, we are going to get ready now. We're going to have Matt Chatham on from Nesson, the Athletic, former Patriot, covering the Patriots, Chatham 58. We will talk to Matt when we come back on the other side. We'll have a little fun with Matt. Let me tell you about Choice Mortgage Bank because, folks, you're going to love Choice Mortgage Bank. Nobody right now outworks, of course, Michael Codsey, and we can get you into state rates under 3.5%. So what are you waiting for? They do it all: wholesale, conventional, residential loans, condo loans, reverse mortgages, jumbo loans, FHA, VA loans. Stop letting those banks give you the runaround or decline you. Call Michael Codsey. Here's the owner's personal cell number, 561 441-2730. Call them. Tell them that Big O sent you. We'll get you into a fixed mortgage rate under 3.5%. Consolidate those bills. Let's lower that monthly payment. Call them right now. Choice Mortgage Bank.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit offers and 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used.
50% less.
A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SCT, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right, welcome back. We take you, of course, till about 3. That's when we will hear from Mr. Brian Flores at 2:30. We're going to hear from Matt Chatham at the bottom of the hour. I said 1 o'clock. At the bottom of the hour, 1:30. Matt Chatham will be joining us here on the show. We'll have a little fun with Matt. We'll get into it with him, and we'll talk a little bit about what's going on with the Spygate, which Spygate 2, right? I mean, once you start adding numbers to your violations, I mean, it kind of, gets to a point that you're out of control, right? I mean, that's basically what it is with them. And you've got the cheaters, and you've got to do something, man. You've got to send a strong signal. That's what you have to do. So we've got the Panthers back in action tonight, taking on the Senators. They're tied for the 11th spot in the conference. They are struggling in a big-time way. They ruined everything that they did from the start, unfortunately. So we'll see if they can get back on track again. Got a little Monday Night Football tonight, Indy and New Orleans. We've got the Raiders wrapping up their existence. I was thinking about this with the Raiders, and I kind of feel bad. Remember how I told you in the first hour how I felt bad for Dolph fans because it's hard for you to really find people that really in the media understand what the Dolphins are doing and what direction that they're going in. And for the Raiders fans. Now, those of you that don't live in Oakland, I mean, you might be an Oakland Raiders fan, but you don't really give a rat's ass whether they're in Los Angeles or they're in Las Vegas or they're in Oakland. You're still a Raiders fan. If you're sitting in Kentucky or in Miami or New York, you don't care what city really that they're in. That's not really going to affect you. But for 40 years, the fans that are in Oakland, the fans that are putting up with, what's it called, the team. That's where I would tell you that I feel for you because you've lost them to Los Angeles, twice, right? Was it twice that they went to Los Angeles, I want to say?
No, I think it was only the one time.
The one time?
They went to Los Angeles. They were there for quite a while.
Yes.
Won a Super Bowl while they were over there.
Yeah.
And then came back.
And then they come back, right? And then you lose them now again to Las Vegas. And you've had the threats over the years, for many years now. The late Al Davis was kind of threatening to leave. And we saw what happened with the Browns fans. And that was unacceptable. The Browns never deserved to lose their team, but because Art Modell in the city couldn't come to an agreement and they couldn't get the stadium and the public was paying for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and all that, and they were like, well, wait a minute, how are you not going to pay for a Brown stadium, but you'll pay for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and whatever. So it was an issue, and he ends up leaving, and the fans end up getting screwed. And I got to say, that's a loyal fan base. That's a passionate fan base, those Raider fans. They're kind of, madmen. I know, I get it. They're kind of crazy. You saw them throwing trash and getting arrested yesterday, and they're all, made up and dressed up like maniacs and things like that.
And not going to a Kiss concert.
Yeah, it's a great environment. You know what I mean? It's a great environment that you guys have created. But the one thing that I will say where I feel for Raiders fans is the mistreatment that you didn't deserve. You've never really deserved to lose your team because you did your part, just like Browns fans. Now, because the owners and the people that are running your counties and your cities and all that, they mishandle all these situations sometimes. And look, I'm not necessarily a big fan of public money for private ventures. Okay, I'm not really that big a fan of that stuff. Now, if the private venture is really going to be able to give back by providing lots of jobs and things like that they really are doing a service in the process, then I can kind of understand the teamwork that goes with public and private, partnerships. But when I see Raiders fans going through this again, it's a shame. And look, I know a lot of the younger fans aren't going through it again. This is their first time because they weren't around when the Raiders, left the last time. But the fact that this franchise has kind of played with the emotions of that fan base over and over again, that part is disturbing. That's the part of sports that becomes really ugly. Because in the end, you can tell me you care about the fans, but you really don't. And because you don't have the money or you don't know how to put it together in the business plan, you have to then go to the public to help your business get over the top, which most businesses in this country are not getting help from taxpayers to help them to subsidize or help them survive. Most small businesses out there, when they fail, and they're done, and they're ruined. Okay? I mean, that's the bottom line. And that's where you've got to look at this and say, okay, well, we got to handle this the right way, and you can't, and you don't. And the poor fan ends up getting screwed. Whether you're the Sonics and watching your basketball team leave Seattle, or you're the Browns, or you're the Raiders. And to have the luxury of being able to go back to that city, play again, and then only to leave them again, that's the part of it that I don't like. That's the part that kind of makes me feel dirty about football. Because those Raider fans, they deserve a lot better, man. Dougie Fresh, agree 100%. Ignorance of rules and laws are not an excuse. Belichick needs to be suspended. I agree. I'm glad you agree with me on that one. That's what he's earned. He's earned the right to get suspended because that's what he's created. He's created a culture of cheating. And whether he knew it or not, there's a part of me that says he really doesn't know about this. But there's also a part of me that says he also acts with plausible deniability and doesn't mind if others do it as long as he doesn't know about it. Just give me the information. But don't tell me how you went about the information. I don't want to know. Because maybe he also is sitting in the background talking, and this has happened already in the past several times, which, again, I wouldn't put it past them, and where he's talking with one of his executives and says, all right, I don't know anything about this. No, don't worry about it, Coach. You won't know anything about it. If something happens, they know it's like Mission Impossible. It's like Peter Graves. Should you decide to accept this submission, whatever, it's on you or whatever, that deal. And, okay, Peter Graves takes on the mission. Well, then, you get caught. It's your ass, dude. We're not bailing you. You got that, Peter? All right, when you go into that country, you bust it. If they catch you, we know nothing. You're screwed. You got that, Peter?
Rogue agent.
That's it. You got it, Peter? You understand? Yeah, I'm good. All right, no problem. Once a cheater will always be a cheater, period. That's what Myron Sanchez says. Nico says, a tiger doesn't change its stripes. And here's where Belichick loses. Okay? No one can blame anybody for thinking the way Nico does, Myron, myself, Bill, doesn't matter. Why? Because that's the example that the Patriots have set for all of us, that they are cheaters. So we have to look at them that way. We have no choice. It's how we've been programmed on who they are. So you get no breaks. If somebody gets busted in your watch, it's on you. Because this is not an isolated incident anymore. This is habitual. The raging Dolphins maniac says, if I were the commissioner, I'd suspend Belichick immediately and for all of next year. And if it happens again, I'd vacate all 6 Pat titles. I can't blame the raging Dolphin maniac for thinking that way. This is what Bill Belichick has brought on himself. I don't know how long the suspension should be, but it should be several games. It needs to be several games. That way, maybe, just maybe, you will now send a message to all of the Patriot organization that they cannot have any kind of cheating whatsoever. The thing is, how do you not suspend Bill Belichick? That's the question I got. There is no defense of this. It's under your watch. It's happened multiple times. How in the world are you not suspending this man? If you don't suspend him, he's going to say, well, I got away with it again. Because he doesn't care if that lower-leveled employee loses his job. He got his information over the years from him or anybody else that did it.
They'll get a bonus on the way out, too.
Well, they might get a bonus just to keep him quiet. Because that's not the first time he's getting information. And he also probably knows that if you get busted, dude, you must fall on the sword. And we will take care of you. But if you try to lay it on the coach, then we will sizzle you. And if he wants to get into that business, he needs to show loyalty one way or the other, because then that's the way he'll get another job somewhere else. If he rats on the Patriots, he will never get a job anywhere else in the league. It's a catch-22. You can actually look at both sides of it. They need to get hammer worse than before, just out of principle. Exactly, George. I'm with you. Because out of principle is the way you got to carry it right now. Unless you can find some kind of an email trail or phone call from Belichick to this guy or his direct boss or something, and you can find somewhere where he's saying, hey, yeah, I need you to do this and this and this, and you can really catch him on. No, and this is the way you've got to hammer them, just out of principle, because they are allowing this atmosphere to fester for the Patriots. That's what they're doing.
Obviously, the ramifications from the previous incidents wasn't drastic enough.
Right.
Because there they are doing it again.
Right. That's the other thing you got to go by.
The other point, dude, how many teams have been busted for this since they got their first?
0.
Thank you.
I think. Nobody.
And this is what, their third?
Yeah.
Fourth?
Yeah. I don't think anybody else has been busted.
Trying to cheat, manipulate, get around, do whatever.
And it's clearly two things. One, everybody else doesn't nearly cheat as much as they do. But everybody else, the few times that they do cheat, they don't get caught. Clearly, these guys are so into cheating that they get busted all the time. You think the guy that got busted cheating on his wife or his girlfriend and then says, oh, honey, this was the first time. No, dude, this is the first time they caught you. Okay? You've been banging this chick for the last year. Okay? And you've been banging the other one for the last 6 months. Okay? This is just the first time they caught you. That's all it is. That's kind of what it is here. You can't say, this is our first time. No, this is the first time they caught you because you've been doing it a lot. And you cheat. If you've been busted this much cheating, then that means you cheat a lot. A ton. That tells me that the Patriots cheat every single chance they get. They come to the coin toss at the middle of the field. They probably have magnets inside their bodies trying to control the coin in the air. You understand? That's the way you got to view the Patriots. Okay? They've got guys on one side of the field that are reading lips somewhere in some suite on the other side looking at the opponent's sidelines, trying to read whatever they can on the sidelines and then relaying it. That's the way you got to view these guys because that's what they've shown us. How do you get busted this much? That's like Lamar Odom. Every week, Khloe Kardashian would get him busted. Every week, he was caught on camera somewhere in some club with some skank, some hoe. Every week, he was busted with some camera at some hotel, some skank, some hoe walking into his room. Not because it was the first time, it's because he did it so much. That's why they busted him over and over and over and over again, because he's habitual. And if the Patriots are going to get busted over and over and over again for cheating, that means they are habitual. This is their way of life. This is their opus. What is it? Opus Miranda. What is it? The opus Miranda or whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about.
Standard operating procedure.
That too. Somebody help me with that. What was that? Well, how is it? How is that saying?
I think it's modus operandi.
Modus operandi. That's it. That's it.
Modus operandi, I think.
Operandi. There we go. Good. Thank you.
Let one of those Latin, I think it's Latin. Please, Latin specialists.
Yeah.
Help us out.
George goes, did you hear how nervous the guy was when he got caught? That alone speaks volumes. Yeah, no, we played it. No, I'll erase it for you if you want. Yeah, it's a little too late for that, my friend. But no, I erased it. I won't be able to get it back.
You know what's another thing?
That's like assuring you, hey, the cheating material I just got, I'll erase it. And, I'll never be able to retrieve it again. So don't worry about that cheating material I got. Nobody needs to know. You don't care about the Bengals. Come on. I wonder how Belichick's handling listening to that conversation. He must have cringed 800 times in 1 minute listening to that conversation.
You know what's another thing?
And that dude, by the way, that guy's got a big mouth. You got to learn to shut up too, dude. Like, don't say a damn thing. All he kept doing was incriminating himself more and more because he kept opening his mouth. Instead of just being quiet and just saying, no, hey, we're just doing a piece, man. Sorry.
No, he actually got into the conversation and started divulging and opening.
That's where you get in trouble.
But you know what? The one thing that I was thinking about last night, if you know that they had this conversation and this went down, and they got it, somebody's got to know. Yeah, me and the security guy, blah, and they questioned. Why aren't you proactive and go and say, hey, league, guess what? We have this situation that may pop up on your radar, and this is going to make us look bad.
Well,
to kind of head it off.
What I mean? I don't think they could have at that time, Bill, because you're in the middle of a game, and then that's when NFL security took the tape in the middle of a game, so they're already way ahead of Bill without Bill even knowing. So
well, I'm not even talking about Bill. I'm talking to somebody in the Patriots organization.
No.
Somebody had to know something.
I know, but there's only one voice. There's only one voice.
No,
only one.
I really think
only one guy talks.
Somebody from the New England organization should have contacted the NFL, and they'd be able to say right now.
You can't.
Hey, we were aware of the situation.
You can't because there's one dude in charge. And until he's told what goes on, nobody can do anything. It's like Riley. You don't do anything at the Miami Heat without Riley knowing what you're going to do, and then he approves it.
Even if it's the right thing and trying to head off an issue.
It doesn't matter.
And be proactive. Look like, hey,
because there's
a screw-up here. We're aware of it.
One voice. That's it. And in the Patriots, it's like there really is one voice. With the Heat, it's actually Spo. Riley only talks twice a year.
Yeah,
really, he's like out of sight, out of mind because he wants to give Spo all the power. But in a case like this, if the Heat were involved, it would be Riley. But
it's
nobody
his to say anything, do anything, and
nobody would say anything, do anything until Riley is told. Riley is told Dion Waiters put a picture out on Instagram hanging out on a boat while he is called in sick and can't do anything. All right, we're suspending him. Riley's the one that then does that. And then Riley approves of whatever the press release that they write. They'll send it to Riley, and he'll say, okay, go ahead, fine, go with it. And then that's how they do it. That's how everything
channels through Belichick and his authorization.
Shula, Riley, you name it. That there are guys that are just in charge. And that's the only person you ever see talk in that organization.
You know what, buddy? It all
about
comes
anything.
back to you, and we need to cut the head off of the snake.
Now, Dallas, the Cowboys, would be a completely different.
That's Jerry.
No, but other people would talk too. Stephen Jones might talk. The head coach, Jerry. You know what I'm saying? That in those cases, there might be other people that might talk, even though Jerry's clearly in charge, obviously. But there are heads there. With the Patriots, there's one guy.
Right.
No matter what.
You get fired if you step out of line.
Oh, the owner talks only when he's getting a happy ending. That's it. Or he's accepting a trophy from somebody, and that's it. Outside of that, you don't hear from Kraft. He's got to show up at the Asian Day Spa or a trophy. It's one of those two. That's it. If it's not, it's Belichick. That's why Belichick needs to be suspended. Has to be suspended. This is the only responsible thing to do if you're the NFL. How many more times? If a player was caught cheating over and over again, he would have been booted from the league. Okay? From the league if they caught him several times like they have the Patriots. The fact that you are catching a coach doing this several times, you have to hold them to a much higher standard than players. Just like a player gets a DUI and an owner gets a DUI, the owner needs to pay double the price of the player. Okay? You want to suspend the player for 8 games? Suspend the owner for the season. Can't be in the building, can't watch the games, can't associate with the team. That's what you should do. Coach gets a DUI, you hold them to a much higher standard than you do a player. You listen, we should all hold each other to higher standards. You should hold yourself to a high standard. But when we're talking about things like this, it has to go with the conversation.
We're up on a break, man.
I know. 786-322-1105. You know how they do it? They do it, and they do it well at Craig Zinn's. Acura of Pembroke Pines, folks. 2020 models all over the place. You want the best selection in town? Go to 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. 2020, the TLX 259, the RDX 329, the MDX 369, only $29.99. Do it signing, plus tax tag and registration, folks. Hey, tell them that Big O sent you, folks. They're going to take care of you, man, at the finest dealership in the business. You're looking for an Acura? No better dealership in the country than at Craig Zinn's. Acura of Pembroke Pines.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Codsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Codsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
Ready to rock and roll. We're going to talk to Matt Chatham now. Friend of the program.
This is
Matt
the Big
is
O Show.
always kind enough to join us.
This
Locally,
is the Big O
nationally,
Show.
whenever we're rocking, he is always ready to rock and always nice enough to join us. Matt, you can follow Matt Chatham on Twitter at Chatham58. You can catch him with one of his 77 jobs, including on Nesson and The Athletic. Former NFLer himself, and kind enough now to join us. Matt, did you bring your camera with you on this interview?
Morning, Big O. No, we all have them now because we all have cell phones. There isn't a human on earth, I think, walking around who doesn't.
That's right. Now, Matt, there's a part of me that kind of says, I don't think Belichick really knew about this, but unfortunately, because of the track record, the plausible deniability crap is not going to fly here, and this becomes a culture thing. We talk about culture in a positive sense. This kind of becomes a negative culture thing. Has Belichick created the culture that opens it up for anybody to try to cheat in that organization to get any kind of an edge, even though deep down inside we all know that that's not the reason why they're winning 4,000 titles?
Yeah, I mean, I personally just have a problem with the word cheat. I know there'll be people that disagree with me, and I understand that. But the whole notion of cheating is that there's some sort of competitive advantage. And what they are guilty of 12 years ago was breaking a rule that hadn't been codified. And I think that was a lot of the big argument at the first Spygate thing, because the game operations manual that governs this kind of stuff was exclusively written for broadcast rights, and there was no language relative to this. So brand new Commissioner Goodell sends out a memo and says, hey, we're no longer going to do that at all. And Coach Belichick decided, no, we do this, and we know lots of teams do this, and this isn't covered in the manual that governs us, so we're going to continue to do it. So we defied it, right? So that's how it started. But I think the thing that aggravates me the most about this, and in full disclosure, when I played for the Jets, the 3 years I was there, Matt Estrella, the cameraman who was caught in the first Spygate thing, is directly on the sideline pointing right across from me. So I've always been kind of annoyed with the idea that Spy was sort of the brand that it was given. It was in plain sight of all of us. There's 80,000 people can see it. You get no different perspective from that camera than all the other people there, coaches, scouts, and fans. So it's not cheating. What it is a clerical advantage. Basically, everything you would get from visually seeing a signal, again, all 80,000 people can watch over them and watch a coach make gestures. What you do is you write it down. You say, hey, he touched his elbow, then he touched his head, and they ran cover 2. Write it down. When you video it, then you just go look at that same thing and write down the identical thing. So it's at the end of the day, the piece of information gets identical. So the notion that it was recorded or not, there is no competitive advantage in that. It just kind of helps the intern in the middle of the night that has to process it all. So I say that, and when you're talking about culture, you're using that as sort of the foundation to all this, that there was a cheat. There wasn't a cheat. There was certainly a defiance of the league, but there's no on-field advantage, say, compared to the Cardinals stuff, where you're hacking into sort of information databases, or the Houston Astros thing, where they're actually stealing a signal, putting it into a monitor in a hallway behind a locker room, and then signaling to the person at bat. That's cheating. That's real stuff. This stuff isn't that. So this is very little anything, and then it begat other little things that now are even less than that, because now the signals come in digitally, so there's no signaling on the sideline. So it's much ado about nothing, but I think the perception has sort of run away, and it's kind of hard to put the genie back in the bottle.
You're right. That's what I think is going to be the problem there, Matt. It's because of the track record, and then everybody's going to say it's habitual, and it's also going to say it's cultural, and then it falls under Belichick, whether he likes it or he doesn't. It doesn't matter. You know, the captain of the Exxon Valdez, if he wasn't driving the ship, it didn't matter. It was his ship that got grounded, that ended up with the oil spillage, and so you're the dude that's going to end up paying the price. The question is, how far does the NFL go here with Belichick? Because I wouldn't be, if you suspended Sean Payton for Bountygate, how do you not suspend Belichick for this?
Because it has nothing to do with football operations. I think they clearly see that, and there's plenty of examples of this where if they were to do anything like that, it would be crazy and unfounded based upon the evidence. I think if you look at some of the best examples, or we know that I believe it was the Vikings and Titans, something like that. And when all this talk about the ball deflation and stuff was going on years ago, there was that thing caught on camera, everyone talking about it, and they were on the sideline warming the balls with the hand warmers, which is completely legal, shown in plain sight. And they decided, technically it's illegal, and technically both of the organizations should have to pay for it, but they didn't. They just gave them warnings, and the reality of it is they use their discretion when it's warranted to do so. I think in this particular situation, especially for someone who works in media, we all know this. There are business units that have nothing to do with one another. So you do have to do an investigation. I'm not saying that. They obviously have to look into it and ensure that their story was correct. When they confirm the story, that a digital media company that has zero interaction with football operations, it's just not, there's no connection between A and B. So maybe they're going to be fined for the reason of the broadcast rights things where this thing all started. You're just not supposed to stick a camera on there regardless of the lack of competitive advantage anymore. But how would one connect that to Belichick? You just can't do that. I think the other example is the Giants with the whole, the headphones continuing to go on and continue to use that information after they're supposed to be shut off at the 15-second mark. That was the McAdoo thing from a couple of years ago. They looked into it. They said it wasn't purposeful. They certainly did it. That's wrong. He'll be fined. But you don't escalate it to a level that it wasn't. And I work for KSP, and any of your listeners should know that. So I work for this company. I know this producer that was there really well. And the confusion, the reality of the situation, and I think that's why the investigation is so important to do, is they have rights in-game at home. They have special broadcast rights. Does Crash Sports Productions to film the sideline. They're actually allowed to do this at home, specifically themselves and NFL media. And what this is for in-game scenics. You film the sideline, you film the coaches talking to one another, you film the coaches talking to the players. They're allowed to shoot behind the bench. They're the only entity other than the NFL themselves are allowed to do it. So The Athletic, we had the reporting on this. This is what happened. That guy who does this on a weekly basis at home was sent on location elsewhere, and he didn't understand that he couldn't continue to do that elsewhere, which makes sense because he was credentialed by the home team there to come and do it, and they were fully aware of the documentary. So it's an accident. It's just silly that it got to this level, but I think people like the potential scandal idea and love to get caught up in the story of it, but there's just no there.
You know, he did sound kind of guilty. Like, hey, you know what I mean? When they approached him, he was like, well, no, I can erase it, and, I won't have and that's where I think also, Matt, the optics of it, the way he needed to have a little more authority, like the way you're explaining it and what his job is, and maybe he would have looked a lot different. But that's the other thing. He probably should have shut up because he kept opening his mouth and probably digging himself deeper. But that's the part that I think if you're on the Patriots side, you're cringing because he's obviously nervous and he sounds guilty, unfortunately.
No, he sounds remorseful, and he sounded very nervous, of course. I don't like that the NFL does it the way this happens. And, again, why NFL, baseball, hockey, any other sports, do we ever get these situations where the league leaks a portion of a video, cuts it up to sort of air balloon a narrative out there, figure out the public response, and then decide their punishment later? I hate it when they do this stuff, but they're doing it here again. And the reality of it is it's cut up. And he says this over and over again, even in the cut-up portion they give us. I'm sorry, I didn't know. I was allowed to be here. We're shooting scenics. And even the security official, he has no idea what's going on. He doesn't understand TV. Right. And he says, hey, I don't see the scout. Well, where's the scout? The scout's not physically supposed to be there. You're filming his view, his eyesight, his perspective. So a TV person, trying to explain this to someone playing Gestapo, it's going to get mangled. But the ultimate thing is, I didn't know. It's not that big a deal. We're allowed to be here. What are we talking about? Yeah, go ahead, edit it. Or, delete it. It's of no use. I work for the media company. I don't have anything to do with football. That's who the gentleman was that was there that day. So with two freelancers who have even less of a clue about NFL rules, and that was, that's the part that's aggravating me. They go, I'm in the media area every weekend. Every one of these games, and the idea of someone setting up a tripod in full view of the whole media with the monitor, with the camera. I mean, come on, it's just not, this isn't espionage. It was a mistake. And in normal circumstances in any other building, they say, hey, you can't do that. Look at the rules on the wall. If you weren't familiar with them, I know our people of media relations would walk up and not allow it. Instead, it was, hey, everyone draw back and start videotaping. We got them. It's just silly.
I just love the line of the security guy playing Gestapo. I love it. And yesterday, Matt, they had to come out and kick their ass because if they struggled to beat Cincinnati or lost to Cincinnati, can you imagine how much bigger the story gets?
Now it's unfortunate things work that way, but I think from a strictly football standpoint, as I was studying that week, there was a possibility of a close game, and I think that's kind of been the frustrating narrative if you're coming from that market. The Bengals have been a bad team. I wouldn't argue they were good or anything like that. The record is what the record is, but they had played Seattle to a 1-point loss, a 1-score loser to Baltimore, a close game with Pittsburgh. It was like a 6-pointer or something like that. Down the line, there was 4, 5, 6 of these in that range where they're 1-score losers. So they keep coming in these games and playing ugly with good teams, but never coming away with a victory. So the idea that the Patriots had a couple rough outings in a row could have plausibly gone in there and had a dogfight with them and come out with a close win. But I thought the thing that was most instructive to all this is when all the reporting came out on this stuff about, they're still taping the sidelines, and I just didn't think the audience understood that there are no signals on the sidelines anymore to grab. So it was really easy for us to just say, hey, let's all stare at the sidelines for the next 3.5 hours. Stare right there. Use your binoculars, use your eyeballs, and see that there's nothing going on there. So I think that's the most important information. If we're going to do sort of an investigation about a murder. We need a dead person. We can't keep looking for something that's not there. So that's the thing to me that's so crazy. I understand this in 2007. There are no sideline signals anymore, folks. The jig's up. I don't know what else to talk about.
Matt Chatham joining us, of course, friend of the program. You could follow him on Twitter at Chatham58. Catch his work at Nesson, The Athletic, and always kind enough to join us here on the program. Matt, are you concerned right now about their offense? Because I don't think it's the demise of the Patriots or anything like that, but it has been a little bit of a challenge for them on offense. And I know this past week against Cincinnati may not be a good measuring stick, but as we get into the playoffs, how concerned are you that there isn't a lot of explosion on this offense?
Well, what I would say would be a reasonable concern is if they go from where we're standing today to an offense that, through a 3-game run, if you're so fortunate to go that far, could put 30 up each week, right? I think the concern is just where the point A is to where you'd finally end up. But that doesn't mean they can't play winning football. I think we're just talking about a different brand of Patriots stuff.
Yes.
Very, very heavily defensively led, extremely good and disruptive special teams, and an offense that just needs to be good enough situationally. Needs to run the football, needs to control clock, needs to be better in the red zone. So I think from the perspective here, yesterday was a great step in that. Nope, not 400 yards of offense, not a high flying through the air kind of stuff, but the positive things they have, they're kind of still in their infancy stage, which need to pick up quickly. I know we're running out of time here.
Go ahead.
N'Keal Harry looked tremendous yesterday, but again, he was a 4-touch guy, so their first rounder is just starting to get his toe in the water, and what can they come up with in a few weeks' time? And can Mohamed Sanu get fully healthy? Julian was very limited yesterday, so yeah, all these things got to come together, and that's kind of what's cool about the NFL tournament. It's part what you did during the year, but it's kind of what stage are you at when you arrive in the final thing.
So are you telling me this is kind of the Corey Dillon, Jermaine Wiggins, Troy Brown type offense and team? Like it reminds you of that team that wasn't a great offensive team, but it relied a lot on running and defense and special teams and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of championship hardware around that formula in Foxborough. So you don't have to lead the league in scoring to take home a ring. I think they know that well. So it's starting to feel that way. But I mean, even saying that, the offense still wants to be better as far as red zone efficiency. I mean, technically yesterday they're 1 for 1. But I believe it was 2 drives that they had that got into what, from football parlance, we really consider the red zone inside the 30, and they don't track it that way with stats. So twice they got inside the 30, but then had to kick field goals. So you just got to be better there. Once you get the better opportunities, you get the turnover on. They had the special teams turnover. They take over the ball right there, advance no yards, and have to kick a field goal. So it's stuff like that. It's not filling up the scorecard. Just when you get the opportunities, make the most of them, and you can outpace most teams doing that. When you get to the final one, you're going to have to be on point, and maybe even a little better than that. But I think that's where they are right now.
All right, Matt. So get me excited about the future. Okay. Is this the end of the run finally? So my Dolphins, can have some hope here down the line because we hear Brady's house is for sale. We hear the trainer's house is for sale. His contract is set to be a standout free agent at the end of the year. He drops out of the big buddy thing as the president. He's just going to do national stuff now. We're 2 years now removed from the whole Garoppolo incident. My brother, there's like a lot of stuff that we can create to say they're parting ways. The divorce is coming. What's your gut tell you, my brother?
That they haven't decided. That's the unfortunate part. We're all going to sort of sit here and lingo and not know. And Tom's been over the top with that, and his representatives have been over the top with that. The team has even said, you know what, when the season began, we decided not to decide until after the year. So we get to wait. And I think one of the things you always have to realize with a guy that's in Tom's stage of life, we're the same age. He's 42 and change, and you're putting your real estate, you're putting your life, you're sort of living, when you are forced to live year to year at that age, you're doing things a little differently than the 24-year-old in the room, or even the 28-year-old who just got the new big deal. So things are different. So I wouldn't read too much into any of that stuff. In a minute, he can buy a different place a little closer to the stadium because his old house is pretty far, and just do this year to year from now on. But those are the things that are going to be determined down the road, and I think that honestly, don't know, and he doesn't know, and the team doesn't know, and they're probably going to let this thing run out. It'll probably come down to numbers, length of time, things like that, but those are so difficult to project from an organizational standpoint, I can imagine, at that age. How do you do a multi-year? How do you formulate it so it's fair to the player and protects you as well? And they're in uncharted waters, I think we'll say that. But my gut is he'll be back, but how exactly they frame it, I don't have a clue.
Yeah, that's okay. So you think he will be back, huh? Damn it. Why can't he just leave, bro? Just leave.
You know what? You got B-Flow down there. He's doing great things. I love Devontae Parker's had his sort of emergence here under a new staff. They're going to have to figure out who the quarterback is long term, but I don't think you need Tom to go away to have good times. I think they just build you and don't worry about the other part. I think the Bills are doing that really well right themselves. They don't need the other team to go away to start to advance the charts. I think what Brian's got going on now, the way he's cleared things out and has a lot of draft equity now. Don't worry about the Tom part. Just do you.
All right. Well, I still got to. It's been a freaking nightmare in my life for 20 years, man. What are you talking about? I can't forget. I just can't forget about that, bro. It's painful, man. Painful, bro. It's painful. Us in the Dolphin Nation, we want to get over this already and get rid of this guy. You know what I'm saying?
At the end of the day, just walk outside. You're where you're at's nicer than where I'm at. Just always remember that.
Yeah, I know, but I'd like to be where I'm at with a Super Bowl trophy and a parade.
There you go.
Just one, bro. I'm 53. Matt, I'm just asking for one. Just asking for one, dude. You guys have like 800 over there. I just want one before I check out. That's it. One Dolphin championship. And by the way, Matt, I got to say something. And I'm not going to do it after the first year, but I'm getting close to it because I don't like to get excited. Even if a player plays one good year, I have this saying, because I've been doing this for 30 years, any pro can have a good week, a good month, a good year. The real pros are the guys that come back to second and third years and do it. That's when I believe. And I'll believe next year fully. But, damn, I'm getting close. I think we got ourselves a coach. I think we actually took away a decent coach from Belichick that, Vrabel and him, I think, are the guys that are making the transition, dude. I like what I've seen from Flores, bro. A lot.
There's reason to. I think he's a really heavily principled man. He's a guy that played at Boston College. He's a guy that came up from straight scraps in coaching. You have to run the bottom of the chain here. And I just kind of like his demeanor. He's a really good dude. Was heavily involved in the community here. His brother with the Hockomock YMCA here near Foxborough, so got to know him a little off the field from that stuff. And just he's good people, and he's trying to do it his way. He's not walking down and trying to mimic Bill, and sometimes I think that's gotten some people in trouble. But, I think if you actually look in the division, I like Sean McDermott a lot too, in part because I know people make fun of the culture idea, but it is that, you really have to kind of have a no-nonsense approach, clean house with the guys you think fit that, and then get rid of the ones that don't. And it does kind of come about the personality of the head coach, and I think that's in division we're sort of sitting at a nice 3 out of 4 spot as far as guys who are doing it that way.
Hey, listen, you don't have to remember we have the heat here. We have Pat Riley. We know culture, dude. No, seriously. I mean, we had Shula here. We know what culture we know what real culture is when you have it. It's that's not a word that people, I know they throw it around all over the place and people try to achieve it and all of that, but it can be achieved. It has been achieved in certain areas. The Ravens have had a culture since Ozzie Newsome has been there for 20 plus years, and now it'll continue since he left. But that's we had it here with Shula. Obviously, Riley and the Heat. I mean, that's them and the San Antonio Spurs are the ultimate example of culture in the NBA. So, yeah, you're right. Yeah. And in 1 year, in less than a year, I think Brian Flores has already kind of established a sense of culture here with the Dolphins, believe it or not.
I kind of think, Big O, that some of this stuff pays off. I mean, this is just my own personal experience from the first year when we kind of sucked. We did in 2000 when Bill first came here. But that group was 5-11. Very little was expected of us. We accomplished very little. But if you look back years later in championship seasons that we have with the team, the 1-1 and then 3-4, it was sort of who was left from that first year. And that first year a lot was sort of him, working the roster over, deciding who he wanted his guys to be, and sort of latching onto those people and then sort of setting the message through them. So it'll be interesting to see who Beefalo hangs on to from this season. If you were to fast forward here, 2 seasons or whatever with him, and who are those 12 to 15 guys that he leans upon? They don't have to be the stars necessarily, just as leaders, but then also the solid pros too. So that's kind of how it works. You use this year to kind of do some weeding, I guess, is one way to look at it. And there is value in that. And it's especially impressive when you can win during the weeding process. And not necessarily win every week, but he's been competitive, which I think is more than a lot would have expected with the roster turnover they had.
Oh, dude, man, we had people here talking about, like, yesterday was a setback, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about, dude? This team has no talent compared to the other 31 teams in the NFL. What I love what they did is, Matt, and this is what I don't think people understand. They tore it all the way down to the bone, and they're building an expansion team, but they're building it through youth. Because as you know, Matt, regular expansion teams, you got some youth, and then you got a whole bunch of veteran guys that are, from different teams, and they give you the leadership, and they give you that foundation. Flores and Greer are like, no. We're going to build all young guys, and then we're going to figure out which are the young guys we like. We'll keep those, and we'll get rid of the others. And those are the guys we're going to start to build this foundation on. That's what people don't understand, that to win under those circumstances with youth, inexperience, and lack of talent, it is truly amazing what Brian Flores and his staff have done this year.
Yeah, and I think the thing to keep an eye on, and that, personally, just because I like the guy, I think you need to ace the management portion of it, the cap management. So it's great to get the culture, but you can't have really bad spends. You can't have one of those years where you go out and crush free agency and fill up the roster with 6 or 7 guys who you end up keeping a third of them 2 years later. So it's being judicious in your moves from that point when you create the culture and go young, and don't waste it, use it. So use it wisely, and I suspect he will. So I like Brian, so I hope he does well.
Always Studley on the show. Matt Chatham, follow him on Twitter at Chatham58. You can catch him on Nesson and The Athletic, covering the Patriots that have been our nightmare for 20 years down here in South Florida. Matt, love you, brother. Thank you for always taking time, man. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Take care, Big O. See you.
You got it, baby. There you go. Matt Chatham, man. He is always fantastic. Always love having him on.
That's pretty entertaining, man.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man. He's a really, really good dude.
I could tell as soon as he answered the phone when I called him. Like, dude, this guy's cool.
Yeah, he's a good dude. And I think we got a guy here in Brian Flores that is just, he grows on me every day, man. Every day he grows on me a little bit. And look, what was it? Was it yesterday? That fourth down that he went on? I didn't agree with that. On at the 11-yard line, you take the field goal there, dude. Early in the game, you take those 3 points. You're on the road. He went for it, and he called a bad. Well, not him, but O'Shea called a bad play, the running play, when the announcers were like, well, when you have Gesicki out and you have the other two, they normally run the ball. And sure enough, the Giants also knew that too, and they stuffed the run. And it was a terrible call. It was a terrible call because at least if you were going to go for it on fourth down, you would have passed. I'm not going to agree with everything that Flores does, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to like the guy overall, because I got to see what he does overall. And overall, he's done one hell of a job. One hell of a job. Now, if you tell me he's making all kinds of bad decisions like I've seen with other coaches in the past, then that's when I won't like him. But there's no such thing as any coach that you're going to love every single decision that they make. Okay? Let me see what Joe has got here for us. The Dolphins team needs to hit in the draft on at least 7-8 players as starters to strong rotational players. Then in free agency, they need to get good quality players to want to buy in on cheap. Okay? It'll be nice. I mean, if they hit on 7 or 8 players of 14, sir, do you know what kind of drafting that is? First of all, it's not realistic on your part. Okay, I just want you to know that. To hit on 7 or 8 of 14, it's really difficult. But if you do, and like you said, they're all starters, I mean, that is one of the greatest drafts of all time if you're able to do that. That's what you're asking them to do.
That'll rank right up there with the Steelers,
All right. Some of those early Dolphin drafts.
Yes,
that,
early
Shula
Dolphin
had.
draft, the Bears, it's some of them 80 ones, and picking Richard Denton the 12th round and stuff.
So that's you're asking a lot, but yes, they do need to hit on picks, which is the obvious. And free agency, I don't really need free agency that much right now. I don't need them to go to free agency right now. I don't think it's smart for the Dolphins to go to free agency right now. I really don't. Free agency, maybe if you want to get solid role players, character guys that they're not going to demand a lot of money, but they're solid players for a year or two, fine. But remember, you're not going to get any real big-time free agents because they want 4, 5, 6-year deals, and they want big-ass signing bonuses. That's exactly what Matt Chatham was talking about. You can't go out into free agency, sign 6, 7 guys, spend all kinds of money, and 2 years later you only kept 2 of them because the rest you cut, and they're all cap hits. Brutal cap hits. Can't do that. Can't do that. So you have to understand that if you're not going to spend big on free agency, that means you have to overspend, then you're not going to get great free agents. And that's what Miami cannot do. You cannot go out there and go buy great free agents because you're just going to overpay for them. And Miami should only get a free agent or 2 big time when they're close. And right now, they're not even close. So build young, stay young, develop young, forget about old. All right? That's what I would tell you is how I would handle all of this. Okay? Let me tell you about Toyota of Hollywood. We love talking about Steve Ostrov, Herbie Lopez, all the great people out there at Toyota of Hollywood, where they've got over 1,500 Toyotas in stock and on sale right now during the Ultimate 2019 Model Year Changeover event going on right now. And folks, let me tell you something. 1841 North State Road 7 in Hollywood. Get on down there. Check out the 2020 models. You can get some great deals on some 2019s they've got remaining. And, of course, you can get on down at 1841 North State Road 7. Tell them that Big O sent you. They're open till midnight. The official #1 volume Toyota dealership on the planet. It is Toyota of Hollywood.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit offers and 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used.
50% less.
A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street, open till midnight.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right, welcome back. We take you, of course, till, I don't know, about another 45 minutes or something like that. We are on top of the press conference now for Brian Flores. Hopefully we will hear from Brian Flores shortly, and we will get his thoughts on everything going on for this week as he gets ready for the Cincinnati Bengals with 2 games left on the season. So we'll hear from Brian Flores, and we'll find out the latest on everything going on. Eugene in Homestead, always locked in on the show. Thank you, Eugene. He says, Big O, did you see the latest Heat injury report for tonight? James Johnson out for personal reasons. Do you think it's something going on with him, Eugene in Homestead? Well, they have said that it's not like a Dion Waiters type situation. They said that he has been a pro, that he's been fantastic. That has nothing to do with anything like that. So hopefully it's nothing serious for the man and that he'll be all right. So that's the only thing that I can tell you that makes, at least it's good news for, Heat fans, that they don't have to look at it that way. Where, it's another headache. James is not that guy either. He's never really been, he's always been a quality dude overall. He was a journeyman, and not that he deserved that kind of money that he got because of a half a season of play. That was the Heat's mistake on that one. But he's not a bad dude. It's like who was it that the guy that lumped in Devontae Parker and Dion? That's wrong. Same thing here. James Johnson is not Dion Waiters. You don't have to worry about it. You staying at Worldwide Dolphin Draft Party in Vegas or at another place? We are going to be at a Marriott is where we're at with a whole bunch of folks right off the strip. We will be at Tommy Rocker's for all of the broadcasts. We'll be there 3 days, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We'll be there for the 3 broadcasts those days, from beginning to end. Well, at least from beginning to the last Dolphin draft pick. Okay? Whatever the last Dolphin draft pick is that day, then that's when I will call it a day, because they have no more picks. So I'm not going to stick around and wait for the rest of the picks that are left on that day, whatever day that is. But, yes, we will do all of the Dolphin draft picks, and we'll have a lot of fun out there covering it all. So come on out and join us at Tommy Rockers in Vegas. I mean, you could go and stand with all the thousands of other people and the main draft thing, but that'll be boring because this is going to be about the Dolphins. We're going to be talking Dolphins. You know what I mean? Every angle about the Dolphins. Yeah, we'll comment on all the other draft picks and as other teams take them, but we'll be talking about the players that are available and how they can help the Dolphins and all those kind of things. And that's what's important. So come on out to Tommy Rockers in Las Vegas for our NFL draft party. We are going to have a blast. Okay? Nobody is going to have the kind of party we are going to have, because nobody in Vegas is going to be doing a straight Dolphins party. Dolphins watch party, everything. One guy is asking me, John is asking me, reservations at Tommy Rockers? I don't know. You got to call. I don't run that. Okay? Bill and I are going to be on stage broadcasting. That's all we got control. We're going to have the cameras on you guys and us. We'll be broadcasting it on YouTube and everywhere else. You guys will be able to see it anywhere in the world. You'll be able to watch it if you want. But that's all we control. And maybe the food that comes to us at the stage. You know, maybe we'll tell Tommy we want nachos, or we want some grilled chicken, or we want this, steak, whatever. You know, that kind of stuff. But we do not control the seating arrangements. We do not set anything up. We have no control over that. Tommy is in charge of all of that. So you've got to call Tommy Rockers and find out if they're doing any kind of reservations for the draft. First day, second day, third day, I don't know.
I would suggest just to CYA, because the capacity is 300 people.
Yes.
Give them a call, see what they're doing. Get in before you get left out.
There we go. Drew Bow says, I stand with you, O. Let's go. What time do they start in Vegas? My brother, what do you mean start in Vegas? I don't understand. Are you talking about Tommy Rockers?
I was going to say, because Vegas never stops.
Yeah, Vegas never stops.
That's like Miami's pretty good about that. There's places you can keep going and going and going. Yeah, you can keep going and going and going.
Tommy Rockers.
Vegas is the king of 24-hour.
Is a sports bar, so I don't think it's 24 hours, but I would imagine that they're open by 11 or noon, which is lunchtime, which, you know, for us it's, 3 o'clock in the afternoon? Whatever, 2 o'clock. So by 2 or 3, in fact now, you can start calling Tommy Rockers, and they'll probably answer the phone, and you can find out. But if you guys want to reserve, go ahead, talk to Tommy. I have no idea how he's handling all of that. But I do know that that will be the best place for a Dolphins draft watch party. Okay? You're not going to get a better place than that one. Plus, standing with all the other people in front of the people that are broadcasting, wouldn't you rather be just hanging out at a sports bar, sitting down, eating food, air-conditioned, all that stuff? Come on, man. You don't want to be out in the... That's not fun. You're out there with all the other fans, with all the other teams. That's boring, dude. You want to be where everybody else is wearing aqua and orange. Everybody else is rooting for the Dolphins. Everybody else is hating on the Patriots and the Jets. That's where you want to be.
Well, that's the thing about the draft. You have 32 teams.
They got to cater to 32.
I have 2 interests, obviously, and primarily this draft obviously going to be Dolphin heavy. The Bears pretty much are set, other than a quarterback. That's the only question. But I have 2. The other 30 teams, I could kind of really give a crap about. And being a solo Dolphin fan, there's 31 teams that,
and on this broadcast, we don't care about your Bears.
I know that, bro.
I just want you to know that.
I may sneak in a Bear hat, with my Merino jersey on.
No Bears hats, no nothing. Just Dolphins. All Fins. John Ross says 5 p.m. Really? That's when they open? 5 p.m.? Well, they'll be open.
Our time.
Oh, okay. Our time. Okay. All right, so that 2 p.m. their time. I see. Wow, that's late. That's weird. A sports bar opening up at 2 o'clock?
Well, remember, everybody's out partying all night in Vegas. You're not going to open at 10 or 11 in the morning.
Yeah, you would. You would open at 11 for lunch.
People are still sleeping, man.
Oh, dude, normal people no, not everybody's partying.
You know what? If those are non-normal Vegas people. Vegas people.
No,
when you go to Vegas, you burn it.
That you've never been to Vegas. That's why it's not the image that it used to be. No, it's not. Yeah, people are going there to get trash and go have fun and go,
rape, pillage, plunder.
But now it's a family-oriented place. It's a business place. There's Vegas is not just for degenerates. Okay, it used to just be for degenerates and go get laid. That's it. That's why I used to say everything that happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? Not anymore. Now it's a whole different thing. Now you can go with your family and amusement parks and all kinds of stuff. So that's why normal people go that aren't wasted every night, and they'll wake up in the morning to go to Hoover Dam, and they'll go, to normal places. Okay. It's not just, hey, let's go to strip bars and what Bunny Ranch and all that other stuff.
90% of the people that I know that have come back from Vegas, they've all said,
it's degenerates.
What the?
That's all it is. All you know is degenerates.
People that went out there to do up Vegas the old school way.
Right. Well, there you go.
Not
See?
with the family. They didn't go with the family. They left the family
at home. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
You go to Orlando, I'm going to Vegas with the guys.
There are plenty of people now that go with their families.
Oh, well.
It's different. It's a different place now. Yes, the debauchery is there for you. If you need it, it's there for you. It's never going to let you down. I'm on Tommy Rocker's page here, and I don't see the times. Wow, it says for 20 years, Tommy Rockers has been award-winning food and restaurant for Las Vegas area locals and visitors. Tommy Rockers offers a fun, casual atmosphere and gaming 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, televised sports, special events, and parties, as well as live performances by Tommy Rocker himself on Friday and Saturday nights. There you go. So they're open 24 hours, dude. All right?
See, that would be Sin City, Vegas style.
There you go. How about that, folks? So you've got it. So go to Tommy Rockers.
Anytime.
Anytime you want. Anytime and party. Look at that, man. Bears Lions. They're having a watch party for Bears Lions, Bills Cowboys. Look at that. See? I'm looking at the schedule of different events that they've had or having and all kinds of stuff. So there you go. Democrat debate watch party. Oh, that was, I'm sure, really exciting. What else? All kinds of stuff. So
the thing that sounds really cool, it's got that beachfront kind of motif idea, blah. Us being from down here, surrounded with the beaches, it'll be perfect for us. We'll feel like we're at home, man.
Says you can book parties and everything, so I'm sure maybe you can reserve a table or two there. How about that? I'm looking at the menu now. Giant cheese nachos, Angus beef sliders. Ooh, Angus beef sliders. They got a big-ass pretzel. It's called the big-ass pretzel. I like it. Not bad. So there you go. Tommy Rockers. 702-261-6688 is the number. 702-261-6688 for Tommy Rockers on 4275 Dean Martin Drive in Las Vegas. Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Are you watching for Flores?
I'm watching for Flores, but I don't know if he's coming on yet. It's a little early, even for Flores at 2:18.
Do you want to toss that up on your side?
Whatever, bro. That's fine with me.
That would be great, because then now I could pay attention and try to get these things up for everybody to drive home.
All right. You got it. No problem. We can do that. So we await Mr. Brian Flores to address the meteors.
Who says you don't do producing anymore? Look at you, bro.
Once in a blue moon. Once in a blue moon, We'll do some production.
You did it all day yesterday, brother.
Yes, we did. We did plenty yesterday and Saturday. We've got, let's see what else. I got Brown stuff that I haven't gotten to. Probably won't today. We got some baseball moves. The D-backs got Madison Bumgarner, Corey Kluber traded to the Rangers, 33 years old, coming off the broken arm.
Speaking of the Rangers,
and you know you're old when you hear Delino DeShields Jr. is getting traded, and you're like,
oh God, yeah.
Damn, I watched this dad's entire career.
So then you don't like watching the Blue Jays games with those three guys in the infield.
Crazy, dude.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Did you see there was a fire at the Rangers' new home, the new stadium?
Oh yes, I saw that. Yes,
that's not good, man.
Yeah. Speaking of children. Last night, you're watching the game. 3 of Farrell Edmonds' kids are in that game. You know, it's like you're watching him catch passes for the Dolphins, and then 30 years later, his kids are all in the NFL. All 3
little
sons.
tidbit. I think it goes back to 1925, 1923, the last time 3 brothers were involved in the same game.
Yeah, but I wouldn't even count it in 1925.
Why?
Come on, that's just Mickey Mouse football, and it was probably 3 brothers that they signed up to, like, you know, the third one really sucked, and they just wanted to make it some kind of crap.
It's a shit.
Leather helmets or whatever.
Those guys were tough, man. You're not going to tell me those guys weren't kind of psycho?
I'm not going to say that they weren't psychos and they weren't tough. I can't argue that. That doesn't mean that they were great. Doesn't mean that they were, like, extremely talented. Doesn't mean like I can compare them to the guys that are now.
Not what we're. That's not what I. It just. It hasn't happened. It hasn't happened.
No, I know. I get it. It hasn't happened in 4,000, and it shouldn't happen in 4,000. You know what it is for your 3 kids to make it to the NFL? You get one child
and playing one game.
You get one child to make it to the NFL. You have 3, dude. Like, man, you are just spewing like just all kinds of talented genes. Holy crap, dude. I mean, just forget it. That guy just produces NFL talent. Women should be lined up with it. Not only am I getting his child, it's an NFL child. The gold diggers should be lining up to drag down Farrell Edmonds. Right? They get to cash in off the guy and then off their child. Talk about the life of a gold digger right there. You marry a guy that has athletic sperm, and then you end up with an athlete, so you get a free ride all the way through. All you got to do is carry something for 9 months. All you got to do is carry your own football, don't fumble it for 9 months, and now you've got a free ride for a lifetime. Gold diggers, get pumped up, baby. Find your Farrell Edmonds. Holy moly.
Dude, I can't believe you're amazing, bro.
It's true. Think about that. That's a perfect thing for a gold digger. They're looking for guys with money. No, look for a guy with money that can produce an athlete also. That way you get the free ride early on. You dump the dude. You got the son. He goes and signs an NFL, MLB, NBA contract, and then you live a happy life. That's it. That's the ultimate gold-digging response right there. You leech off the guy, and then you leech off his offspring. Man, that's the life. You got to love that. 786-322-1105. You know that there's a couple of women scheming like that right now as we speak. Are you going to tell me that I'm crazy? You're going to tell me that there aren't some women thinking like that? I got to marry me a guy that could get me an athlete. That way, if the bum can't hang around, I got his kid to carry me. Telling you, there's some gold diggers that they saw Farrell Edmonds and they said, that's the new wave right there. That's how we got to do it. Big time. Telling you, it's going to work. Let's see. Do they have slots at Tommy Rockers? Well, it says gaming. So I'm not sure if they have slots, but you know what? The airport has slots, so I wouldn't be surprised if Tommy has slots. Let's see. Our 15 multi-game jewels at Tommy Rockers features bonus games, multipliers, and extra chances at winning money or bigger money. Join our VIP Players Club and receive comps and special offers. There you go. So they've got it. They've got some machines. I don't know what kind of machines, but they've got machines. Jackpot. Looking at it there. Lotto a bucks. Or a lot of bucks. There it is. A lot of bucks.
Saving that money for blackjack and a little bit of craps.
Yeah,
and
they've
that
got.
would be the extent of it.
It says hot slots there. So, yeah, they got it. Hot slots. Industry bar.
Got hot sluts?
Hot sluts, too, yes. Industry bar. Craft cocktails and beers. Live music every weekend. Never a cover. Come on, man. Tommy Rockers is the place to be. This is Mantronics at MCT.
Bro, and 24 hours. The show never closes.
That's it. I love it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be the greatest weekend in Dolphin history in the last 20 years. Not that that's really hard to beat because the last 20 years we haven't had anything to really celebrate. So it's really easy to top anything that's gone on in 20 years. But this is going to be the ultimate 20 years right here. And in the last 20 years, this is going to be the ultimate moment for Dolph fans. Plus, you want to be in Vegas. One, it's Vegas. Two, it's a great reason to go to Vegas. And three, you want to be there in the moment that is the watershed moment of the start of the Dolphins getting back to being a great franchise. Because that's what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Dolphins are headed back to being a great franchise. It's going to take a couple years. That's fine. But this is going to be fun. You're going to be a part of it because you watch this season take hold on the field. You watch certain pieces come to light. Now you're going to see that first real Dolphin draft that is going to catapult them. And you got to be a part of that. So you got to come on down to Vegas and join us. We're going to be down there from the 20th through the 27th. We'll be out there for a whole week having some fun. And by the way, I need some concerts, bro. I mean, they have not.
Nobody else has chimed in, huh?
Every day I check at least 3-4 times a day, hoping that there's some new updates or something. We have the Righteous Brothers, we have Bruno Mars, and we have Bryan Adams, and that's it. Okay. That's it.
Well,
and we'll probably go to Bruno. That one for sure. But, man, we lost Foreigner. Okay. I don't know what the hell happened and why they canceled.
Let me correlate. You saw how late GNR chimed in with doing a show.
Yes.
So we got time. You know, there's going to be a plethora of people out there for the draft.
I would imagine.
And I'm sure.
Well, imagine the NFL's doing something on their own that they're going to host some stuff.
You know, and they always bring music involved.
Right.
So.
But there's no guarantee. You don't know what genre. You know what I mean? It could go in any direction.
Can I venture to guess it's not going to be the right one? Most of the time,
it'll be either rock, country, or rap. I don't think it's going to be anything else.
A lot of times they don't do the rock. Sometimes
that's what I'm saying, but it'll be one of those three. I don't think it'll be anything else at all. I don't think it'll be R&B or anything like that because with football, you got to go rock, rap, and pop.
Yeah.
That's really what goes
mainstream
with it more than anything else. Yes. Yes. R&B music is fantastic, but it's not really football music. It's kind of like what I love, no offense, okay? I love the parrot heads out there, okay? Jimmy Buffett is awesome, but Jimmy Buffett's music doesn't belong anywhere near a football stadium. Nowhere. So when they used to play Jimmy Buffett music because they were part of that
beer shark, sheer,
whatever the hell that Sharkville's beer was
in
called.
A bottle.
Whatever. It was the dumbest thing in the world because Jimmy Buffett's music is great. Land shark, yeah. Jimmy Buffett's music is great when I'm on a hammock at the beach, relaxing. Jimmy Buffett's music is great if I'm on a boat, chilling. Jimmy Buffett's music is great if I'm in the backyard, hanging out. Jimmy Buffett's music sucks on a football field. Okay? Doesn't get you. Play me AC/DC. Give me some Run DMC. Give me stuff that goes with football. And Jimmy Buffett does not go. Now, Brian Flores, he goes with football. Let's hear from the head coach of your Miami Dolphins. I think so.
We'll start on Sunday, and you've always said you want to start the guy who you think gives you the best chance to win. One thing with regard to Rosen, is there any more critical information that you and Chris and Brandon think you need to know from seeing him in a game this year, or do you already know everything that you feel like you need to know about the player?
Let's get, more information and gather more information. But, we have what we have, which is the practice reps and the game reps that he's had. It's along with, his play from a year ago. But I think, the most important, thing we get is what we see in practice on a weekly basis. So that's kind of my thoughts on that.
So how much temptation, if any, is there to get a look at him in the last 2 games, John?
We're always going to do what we feel is in the best interest of this team, and we're going to play the guys who give us the best chance to win. And I think we feel like that fits Ryan. It's been that way for the last 8-10 weeks, and we'll continue to go that way.
With Waldakens, Brian, is the issue that left him home Sunday resolved in terms of will he be available to you next Sunday?
Yeah, it's been resolved.
And we saw Raekwon leave yesterday. Was that anything that you've determined is serious, or was there anyone else out of yesterday that you think might be in jeopardy the rest of the season?
It's early in the week, so guys are, everyone's a little bit sore from the game. It was a tough game. So, we're still evaluating a few guys, and, I think they'll feel a little bit better tomorrow, and then, we'll see what Wednesday looks like. And, look at those guys. It's a tough group, so they'll try to battle back and get out there and play, and Raekwon's definitely part of that.
Brandon, what's your message this week to these players?
Same as it always is. Let's get better in practice. Let's improve in, practice, meetings, walkthrough. And try to go out and play a good, solid football game next week. But, that starts with our process on Tuesday, preparing for the next opponent, Cincinnati in this case, and, building throughout the course of the week. So, but getting your rest, getting your, hydration, doing all the things you have to do from a preparation standpoint to give yourself the best chance to play at an optimum level next Sunday.
Right. The narrative around this game is the team that was the game is better off. And number one, you ever gone into a game feeling that way? Number two, if not, as a competitor and seeing that and hearing that, and probably the way they feel front office, that's better. That's the way it is. How do you deal with all that and handle all that?
I mean, I don't know whose narrative that is. Like I've said this all year, I'm going to try to win every game. That's kind of my thought process.
You guys are favored for the first time this week. I guess, where does that equate in your mind? Obviously, I know you don't pay attention to the lines, but they believe you are the superior team to the Bengals.
I think every week's hard in this league. I think
coaches don't care about
the last few weeks. It'll be a tough game, just like every game is in this league. We got to do a good job with our preparation, going through our process Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and try to build over the course of the week. And we're going to play a tough, competitive team, and we're going to have to play well if we want to win, just like any other week.
What have you seen in the red zone the last 2 weeks?
From us, not enough. Not enough production. We got to punch it in. We've gotten stalled out too often, and you're not going to win games if I think we move the ball efficiently at times, and we just haven't been able to finish off those drives. It's hard to win with field goals in this league.
I want to ask you about the run game. Obviously, you had a pretty much resurgent game. 1 of 3 times you ran for over 100 yards. What was the difference this week against the Giants?
I thought we could have ran the ball better, to be honest with you. So there's still a lot of things we need to improve on. I'd say, the first thing that comes to mind is, we need to be able to pick up 1 yard when we need 1 yard. I know there were some good runs in there, but I think we need to do it more consistently, really at the start of the game and really throughout. So still got a lot of work to do there.
And how would you assess the way Dieter and Shaq performed?
Good plays, bad plays. I think it was a good front. They got some good players. I think we, again, had some good plays, had some not so good plays. But I thought those guys battled. Every week, the competitiveness, the effort, the toughness, that it's never in question. But they had some good players and stuff to block them one-on-one at times. And we got to do a better job of just playing with fundamentals and technique and giving ourselves the best chance to get those guys blocked, especially when you're playing against good players.
With the host about the guards also played Evan Brown.
Yeah.
I guess he was the third guard.
Yeah, Evan went in there, played a little bit yesterday. Again, got some, live action for the first time with us this year. And again, it's no different. Had some good plays, had some bad plays, showed some quickness and some change of direction. Again, it was some instances where, they didn't play as well. And lost a couple one-on-one matchups, I would say. But we had that at some other positions as well. But it was good to get him out there, him to get his kind of feet wet, and hopefully we can build on that over the last couple games of the season.
How's Julian Davenport played the last couple of weeks?
Better. You're seeing some steady improvement, and we just got to build on that week to week, practice to practice, and try to string some good play together.
Do you notice anything that's relating to that improvement?
I think he's just playing, we've harped on him about his consistency with his technique. The kid's athletic, but he's got to, play with good footwork, hand placement, tight hands, low base in the run game. So he's starting to do those things a little bit more consistently. Again, this is, someone who was out for a good chunk of the year, early, and then came back, and, it takes a little while to kind of get back into the groove of things as far as fundamentals and techniques from that standpoint. So we just need him to continue to play consistently and improve over these next, couple weeks, and then, hopefully that'll lead into, a good off season and, so on and so forth. But right now the focus is on, getting better this week.
I've seen, I think, 10 players signed over the last 2 weeks. One of the 10, Zenner, is no longer here. A couple were inactive yesterday. Among those who played yesterday, the Silers, Brooks, Lyndon Stevens, anyone flashed you?
I thought they all flashed. Some good plays, some plays that could have been better on. Sealer plays with great effort. Had some good technique plays, and thought he played strong inside. Brooks had a couple good tackles, same with Lyndon. Again, they got to get in the game. It's good to get him in the game, see him run, see him move around. And then we had some plays we can be better on, and we'll coach them up, make those corrections. Hopefully they'll learn from them. We'll have a quick turnaround, not this week from a playing standpoint, but it's, for them individually, it's, playing up their, first game of the season, and then, turning around and playing another game next week will be good for them.
How surprised were you to see so many drop passes, Brian?
It's, disappointing. It's something we work on a really daily basis, and, something we haven't had as many issues with, over the last, let's call it 5 to 6 weeks. But, you play in a little bit different environment. There's wind, there's, not to make excuses, but they're not excuses. They can't be excuses is really what I'm getting at. We had too many, really at all positions. So receivers, backs, tight ends. I mean, we had them everywhere. It wasn't just one guy. It's a collective problem, I would say, and it cost us some big plays. It really did. So those plays would have helped us, specifically in the first half. Maybe we put up a couple more points. Maybe we break a tackle. Maybe this, maybe that, if. We have to make those plays.
18 sacks in 14 games. Obviously, that's an issue that the team needs to improve on. Is there anything that you guys can do from a coaching standpoint or a scheme standpoint, a play calling standpoint, to get the sack production up or pressure production?
Well, I think, it's something that we always want to get pressure on the quarterback. Every team's trying to do that. We're trying to do it as well. We've got to coach it better. We've got to play better. There's a few different ways you could do it. We could all out blitz them. We could, fire zone them. We could 5-man pressure them. We could, bring a corner, bring a star. We bring the safety. I think we've, at points in the season, we've done all those things. And we'll continue to, do the things we feel we need to do to, create some pressure. And, hopefully we play better, coach it better, and, hopefully we'll see some improvement there.
Are we good? Yep. There is the head coach, Brian Flores. All right, let's go over some of the things that they talked about in this press conference. First of all, coaches don't care about point spreads and that they're favored for the first time this week and all that. I kind of knew the answer to that one. Not that they were going to worry about it. Apparently, the Walt Aikens issue, he was benched for some kind of violation of team rules, and I guess the benching was, and the fine that he probably paid was enough for his penalty, and so he'll be back into the lineup this week. I saw where Barry was asking about, why don't you see Josh Rosen in the last couple of games, and have you seen enough and all that? And I don't know if he's going to write that his career is over, and I'm not ready to say that either about Josh Rosen. Hey, look, the kid wasn't ready. They tried to, develop the kid. They failed. They couldn't do it. He wasn't ready. He's too green at this point. And he's too green to play him to help you assess everybody else. And if you play Josh Rosen, it makes it harder for you to assess everybody else. So they're going to play the guy that gets them the best chance to win because they're not tanking. Just like they played Devontae Parker yesterday because they want to keep developing the player, keep building his confidence, and it's the best player they have available to try to win a game. If they weren't trying to win games, they would have benched Fitzpatrick a long time ago, and they let Rosen just eat it every week. If they weren't trying to win, they would tell Devontae Parker, hey, you got your contract. You had a great year. You know what? Let's keep you off the field for the last couple of weeks. Let's get you that rest. You're in concussion protocol. Let's not take any chances. You're our guy next year. If they were trying to, tank, that's what they would do. But they were never doing that at any point. So this is the way you got to handle this. This is the right way. And of course, it's an indictment on Josh Rosen. But, ladies and gentlemen, if UCLA doesn't want to teach him how to play the position, that's not his fault. Sometimes you can grab a guitar and you can be self-taught. But the quarterback position, maybe you could be self-taught. But most guys need coaching.
Don't leave Arizona out into that indictment.
No, I haven't gotten there yet. So it's not his fault that then he gets drafted and the professional football team, which all 32 of them should be teaching you every in and out of a quarterback. You should have a quarterback guru teaching you everything about a quarterback. And they didn't do it. They didn't teach him how to find the middle linebacker. So by the time he gets here, he can't call coverages. He can't find the middle linebacker. What's the deal, dude? If he can't point out the mic and he can't tell you, hey, switch coverages here because we see that they're loading up on this side instead, and hey, let's check out of this run because it looks like it's going to be a run defense. You can't do any of that stuff, then what the hell are you going to do? Just throw the ball? Well, yeah, but if you don't know how to check in and out of good and bad plays, how are you going to complete some of those passes? So you can put an indictment, everything you want on Josh Rosen. It's not all his fault. He's not ready. So are you going to penalize the coach because he's not playing a guy that's not ready? Are you going to penalize a player that has not been coached up and actually educated? It's tough, man. It's tough on everybody. And that's why the best thing is probably to have him sit and watch all of this. And watch this guy prepare week in and week out. Like I've been telling you now for the last couple of months that this happened. Maybe what they're going to do is teach him as much as they can now, teach him throughout the offseason, draft a new quarterback, and then open up the competition. And remember, he will have an advantage over the rookie because he would have been in this system for a whole year now. And we don't know if the rookie knows how to call protections and find the Mike linebacker. We don't know. Maybe he has those issues. The good thing for that rookie compared to Josh Rosen is he will be taught that right away, whereas Josh Rosen wasn't even starting to learn that until year 2 in the NFL. I don't know how Barry will write it. Maybe he'll write a big old dramatic story on how the trade has been disappointing because Josh Rosen's this and you gave away a second rounder and all that stuff and create all kinds of drama because that will get clicks. But really, it's a kid that needs to be given a chance to actually be educated so he can compete for a job. Okay? You cannot become the store manager until you've done a couple of the jobs under the store manager so you can get to that point that you know everybody else's job. So as a manager, you will understand everything and you can be efficient. You walk in and they hand you the job and you don't know what it entails. How are you going to be efficient? You're not educated properly. That's it. It's pretty simple. It's not that difficult to figure out. But let's not make it sound like Josh Rosen is lazy. Let's not make it sound like Josh Rosen doesn't want to learn. Let's not make it sound like they've already taught Josh Rosen everything and it's just him not catching up with things. This is a young man that unfortunately, like this entire franchise, needs to be reset and educated. And that's what's going on, whether it's the quarterback or your entire freaking football team. Okay? Dougie Fresh says, I'm pushing back on Matt's position. Pats and video team have nothing to do with one another. Watch Reservoir Dogs. Not knowing people you commit a crime with is the reason you get away with it. Exactly. Look, in the end, I don't think that Belichick was setting this up, to be honest with you. In my heart of hearts, I don't think so. But Belichick has created that environment. And so others will go about it and do it on their own. And maybe there are others that are cheating in that organization and they're just telling assistant coaches who then just pass on the information to Bill, but Bill doesn't know where that information is coming from. And that's probably going on in other organizations around the NFL. But in the end, Belichick's in charge. So that's where he has to be held responsible. And he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt anymore. That's the brutal honesty to it. So what are you going to do? Right? All right, we thank...
Suspend him for a year.
Exactly. We thank Matt Chatham. We thank Brian Flores also for speaking. We thank Bill, of course, always getting it done. John also, both of our exceptional producers, getting it done and putting it together every single week. We thank all of you out there, whether you're watching, whether you're listening, and, of course, the amazing numbers that are downloading and supporting. We thank you for that also. We'll see you tomorrow, as always. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
Hey, yo, thank you, man.
We just surviving, baby, every single day.
We're doing better than that, bro.
Yes, we are.
Because of our fans.
That's right.
These guys, you guys are incredible. This weekend, you blew us away.
Yes. Incredible downloads on the weekends. The weekend numbers were the best we've ever had. It just gets better and better every day. Thank you. We are blessed for your support. We will see you tomorrow. Be good out there.
Y'all have a good night.